Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Entity Maze, and welcome to episode 2 of the Anipoke Bros podcast. As always, I am joined by my co-host, the PokeRaf.
What's going on, guys? It's me, your boy Raf, and yes, it is I.
And we also have Lumio's trainer, Zach.
What's up, Lumio's trainers? Lumio's trainer Zach here.
Hey. Alright, well, today, everybody, we've got a different kind of topic today. We've been speaking about just the Gen 8 anime corny for this podcast series, but today we're wanting to talk about Sun and Moon as a series as a whole because, you know, it's just got 2 episodes left and the emotions are definitely high. I've definitely been feeling it recently. I know these two have said similar stuff to me as well. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about how we feel about Sun and Moon in general, so we're going to be doing that today. So how this is going to work is that I'm going to ask my lovely co-hosts here 10 questions about Sun and Moon, which I feel like capture every single element of Sun and Moon, so that way we feel like we have definitely covered almost everything to do with Sun and Moon. However, if you do want to make Twitter posts about these questions that I'll be asking these guys, I will leave the questions in the description below if you want to ask it for yourself. I'd also really appreciate it if you use the hashtag thank you Sun and Moon when doing those Twitter posts, or maybe in a YouTube video if you want to do a YouTube video about this, because we want to show our gratitude towards Sun and Moon and hopefully get it on trending when the final episode airs. So yeah, huge thank you to Pineapple Robin and Maddie Fandoms for creating the hashtag as well. It's a lovely hashtag. But yeah, that's basically the rules, to be honest. So I'll show all the questions on screen at the moment, but with that now shown, let's just jump right into question 1, shall we? Alright guys, so the first question for this tag I have written down here is, what was your first impression of Sun and Moon from the poster, trailers, and the first 2 episodes? And oh god, that was crazy for me, but we'll pass this along to you first, Zach.
Alright, so my first impression when I saw the poster and I just saw like Ash in the Sun and Moon art style, I was like, what is this? Like, why does he look like that? Why does he have that stupid smile on his face? Like, it just looks so weird. But, you know, I was like, you know what? Let me see the trailer. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, okay. So he actually does look like this. He looks like shit. That's what I thought initially. Because, like, he jumped from the XY art style where he looked really great and everything looked great to this more laid back style. Like, it's such a drastic change that, like, it threw me off. And I was like, no, this is not my Ash. This is not what the anime is supposed to look like. And then we heard about how it's going to be a comedy-based series, and that just turned me off even more. But, you know, I still watched the first 2 episodes. And I'm not going to lie, I was not a fan of the art style still. And I wasn't really a fan of how, like, Ash is all more childish and making jokes and silly and goofy. But, you know, the first 2 episodes kind of did get me interested, at the very least. So I feel like it did its job. I mean, I did not like the art style. I think literally the first shot of Ash, you see him underwater and he gets out, and that was like the little preview that we saw in the trailer, and he looked so dumb. But now looking back, it's not that bad. But at the moment, I didn't like it. But the episode did a good job of at least getting me interested in the series, because it showed that, all right, even though Ash is more childish and goofy because of the series, he still had like his old, I guess, battle style in a way, because the animation when Ash battled Team Skull with Pikachu, it looked pretty good. And I was like, oh, okay, hold up. There might be some substance to this show. And then like episode 2 with like Tapu Koko showing up and Ash battling in and getting his Z Crystal, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit interested. Let's see where this show takes us.
Yeah, I do remember you also recalling that you believe that when you've watched back the first 2 episodes, that you believe it was one of the better introduction episodes as well. If you want to elaborate on that more if you want, or it's alright if you don't.
Oh yeah, no, because like I feel like it did a good job at least introducing the Alola region, the characters, and just like starting off like a new journey for Ash, because as we see like in the first episode, he wins that, well, Mr. Mime wins that little lottery trip whatever to Alola. And I feel like it was a really good way. Like, it showed off the art style, the animation, the region, and everything. And I just really like how it kind of started off. Like, it's very different from traditional first episodes from each series. because Ash is in Pokemon school, but it still did a good job of, like I said, getting me interested in the show. We see Team Skull show up, so we know those are the new bad guys of the region right away. We see Ash battle with Pikachu, and it shows that no, it's not like a black and white situation where like his character is rebooted. This is just like the same Ash we know, but like in a different setting, so it's more laid back. But he can still battle when he wants to. Like I said again, when he battled Tapu Koko as well, it really kind of brought in the culture of Alola, and like it showed like there's a lot to be explored to the region, because we didn't even know what Tapu Koko was, and he showed interest in Ash for some reason, and obviously it's elaborated way more into the series, but it was a good way to like basically the best way it like represented the Sun and Moon anime and what it's all about in the first 2 episodes. So like if you wanted to know what the show was about, this series, you could just watch the first 2 episodes and you can pretty much know what you're getting from the series, without spoiling what's gonna happen.
Yes, I could definitely agree that it was a very, very good introduction episodes. Of course, it also introduced the new kind of gimmick that the games had as well, which was Z moves, and we've pretty much had a gimmick ever since Gen 6, Mega Evolution, Z moves, so now we're going to get Dynamax. So I suppose when it does come to Gen 8, the first episode will probably include Dynamax straight away, which would be a pretty cool introduction to that as well. But
and if it doesn't, then it sucks.
We ain't watching it.
Oh my god. Well, alright, cool. That was nice to hear. What about you then, Raph? What was your first impressions from the poster, trailers, and the first 2 episodes?
I'll be honest with you. When I first saw it, the poster, I was just so confused. Like Zach was saying, when we saw Ash's big ass grin on his face and just the illustration of the art style, I was thinking to myself, what has happened here? Like, we've just finished an amazing series in XY and XYZ on Ash literally looking amazing, and the whole animation style, and of course the just everything about that series, and then just jump into something that many people at first thought was like, oh, this is just going to tone down and just make it more of like a child-friendly anime series, and kind of miss the whole concept of Pokemon battles, in how they can sometimes be quite, how can I explain it, aggressive, like in Pokemon battles, and like drop that style. Like, for example, we had Ash versus Alarm. That was quite an aggressive battle, in my opinion. And seeing the new art style for the first time, I thought to myself, maybe they've just taken a new turn with this anime and drop it entirely. But I also was quite excited to see it, because it did bring something different to the table, just like, the games Pokemon Sun and Moon did, in terms of like, with trials and getting rid of gyms and everything. So I was quite impressed to see that from its first impression. And of course, just looking back at the very first 2 episodes, just seeing the fact that, a Z-move was introduced straight away was like, wow, they're definitely going to show off something big with this mechanic, obviously relating to the games as well. And I thought it was quite impressive, because when I saw the animation, I was thinking, okay, maybe I kind of anticipated this and I judged it too quickly, even though I did say about literally 5 minutes ago, I don't know what the heck this is. But then watching that episode, the very first episode, it kind of gave me a little insight to say, okay, maybe I should just calm down a little bit, explore the series a bit more, and wait and see what it has for us. And before we knew it, well, I think we'll let the rest of our opinions do the talking when we get through out the rest of the questions. But I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this.
I had my own little character. I had my own little character development as well. But yeah, I guess we'll get into my thoughts about that now.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be good.
I'm gonna flash back to September 2016. It was the first day of college. I got onto the train. I decided to turn 4G onto my phone. I turned on the Twitter app, and the first thing I saw was this Sun and Moon poster. And then when I saw it, I kid you not, I dropped my phone in shock. I said, "What the fuck?" out loud right on the train. Because it just, the new art style just shocked me that much, and it just seemed like it was gonna be such a, as we've kind of said already, toned down anime, more aimed towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Baby's first Pokemon anime.
Oh my god, but yeah, then I took a look at the summary for this poster as well, which then said Ash is going to be attending a Pokemon school, and that just made it worse. I was like, why is he attending a school? This dude just went from being a runner-up in the Kalos League to now going to school, which we've never seen in Pokemon before. Like, sure, we've had the trainer schools in the games, but we've never seen... Well, actually, we have seen schools in the anime, but... You know, there was just so much thoughts flowing through my head during that point. And then I was so angry throughout the day as well. I was like, I got a college. I was not enjoying the work at all. All that was on my mind was this Sun and Moon art style. And then after college was over, which finished early because the computers were trash, I went back home. I got into my bedroom. I turned on Audacity and I made my first ever rant video on YouTube, which was to do with the Sun and Moon poster. The rant video is now privated for a good reason, because I said so many dumb things in that rant video as well. Like, I called the art style animation, for starters, despite it being a poster. And oh my god, bro! Oh my god!
You're angry. It's understandable.
Man, this poster's animation sucks, even though it's not moving.
The funny thing as well, so many people kept calling the art style animation even when the episode started airing as well, and that kind of triggers me still when somebody says that, because
they call it that till this day.
Yeah, exactly. It's oh my god.
The frustration.
Oh man, yeah. I just never felt that mad about like the Pokemon anime before. A series that I've loved so much ever since I was a kid, but it's turned into something that looks like a bootleg, pretty much, you know. So yeah, that was my first impression just by the poster. Those were some pretty strong impressions. I think I even said to my in fact, I watched the rant video back the other day because I was comparing it to how I reacted to Ash vs. Kukui. I said in the rant video, I literally wanted to kill myself when I saw this poster. Like, bro, Jesus Christ.
Edgy Ben.
I was very edgy back then. Oh my god, yeah. My old content is so bad, but regardless of that, you know, when the trailers started coming out as well, I was like, I still didn't really find the art style appealing whatsoever. And then, as we all know, although it was a frame, people kept taking the screenshot of a single frame from the trailer, which was Ash and Pikachu on Sharpedo, where Pikachu just looked so bad and Ash was just I don't even know. And then everyone was like posting all over Twitter, oh my god, look how bad the animation in Pokemon has gone. And even I was behind that. I was like, oh, look at this. Even if it was just one single frame, which, you know, multiple frames make animation, you can't just take an out of context screenshot like that, you know, and call it bad animation. But that's how the community was back then. It's actually crazy now because we've gone from, oh my god, look at this frame, to, well, not calling it a frame, but saying, oh my god, look at this bad animation, to now going, oh my god, this is the most beautiful animation I've ever seen in Pokemon, because of the recent Ash vs.
The tables have turned.
The tables have turned, indeed. But yeah, like, when I watched the trailers, like I said, I didn't find the art style appealing. But, you know, soon I was like, okay, maybe I'm being a little bit too salty. This is the Pokemon anime. I've loved it so much. I even love Black and White, which is acclaimed by the community to be the worst series. So
because
I love it how you had to think about that, Ben. I love it how you were like, because it's you know,
because I don't want to say it's a bad series. I love Pokemon so much, but that's why I was like saying to myself, yeah, but I love this series, so maybe I will enjoy this one. So I started being a little bit nice towards Sun and Moon when the trailers came out. Although I always put Serena in the title and thumbnail, still saying, "Where's Serena?" But you know, I was a huge Serena fanboy back then.
Bro, when is Serena coming to Alola?
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I could have swore she was meant to be coming. Where is she, Ben?
Oh my god, you just reminded me of when some more shippers, like animators posted on Twitter. Twitter a storyboard for the first episode, and many people thought from the storyboard that the Sharpedo girl, the one who rents the Sharpedo to Ash in the first episode, was actually Serena, because it just looked like her from the storyboards, and everyone was like, oh my god, Serena is in this anime after all. But then the episode airs and it's just some random chick. Oh my god. But oh man, those days were crazy, the emotion days. But yeah, I mean, when the first 2 episodes did come on, they were pretty decent, and I can get behind what Zach said, you know, like, after rewatching the episodes, it did introduce Alola pretty perfectly, but
Yeah.
back then, my first impressions was just like, alright, the episode's decent, but, you know, this art style is just you. But
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It's like the we watched it right after X and Y, so obviously a lot of people were turned off and were like, "Ew, this looks so bad." But like, if you watch it now, like I just realized this rewatching the first episode, but damn, like that first episode of Sun and Moon, it's really good. Like it looks really like
Yeah.
beautiful, and like the animation is super fluid. But
It's
I guess like we just
distinctive,
never
yeah.
appreciated that like when it first came out. It's so crazy.
we let our hate get the
Our
best
head-
of us, pretty
Yeah.
much.
When thoughts took over.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that's all I've really got to say for question 1 there, then. But let's move on to the next question now, which is something which will turn into something a little bit more positive as we come to start to appreciate Sun and Moon now. Which question 2 is, how do you feel about Ash's character in Sun and Moon? So this means his development, and just anything else regarding his character, pretty much. So we'll start with you this time, Ralph. What do you think of Ash's character?
Ash Champion Ketchum. I felt like it was really well balanced. So as we can tell, obviously, from the new art style and of course animation for this series, we would see a lot of emotion from Ash in his facial expressions, obviously some comedic moments, and of course loads of dumb faces. As I think I remember correctly when Pokemon Ranger Boy was doing a count of Ash's silly faces throughout his reviews of the episodes.
Oh my god.
And I think I can't remember the exact number, but I think he was like around up to like episode 20, or I think it was 25, and there was like literally, I think his count, don't pull me to this number by the way, I think it was like 60 already, like 60 funny faces of Ash already. And even though he had that sort of comedic side, obviously because he's still representing, you know, the younger audience as the 10-year-old hero, even though he's been 10 for many years now. And it was good to see him show off that personality, and still when in battle and, you know, encountering Pokemon, showing off his actual compassion and care for them as well, just how he would in the previous series, which was a great, obviously, transition coming from, you know, how he would blaze up all his energy with a giant water shuriken with Sachikagoga, and in Alola, just literally coming down to earth, adapting to the new style and, you know, lifestyle in the Alola region, and still managing to pack a punch in battles and motivates Pokemon to do better. So I felt like Ash's character throughout the anime was literally superb. And even just watching, of course, you know, the most recent episode with Ash and Pikachu taking on Kukui and Tapu Koko, like, oh bro, if you haven't seen our reactions, guys, make sure to go over to Ben's Twitter page and just look in the reactions, because even though some of us were like, well, we were all half asleep, we got woken up by this episode, so don't, make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, I think it was just amazing to see at the end of that battle, you know, the flashbacks of the whole development of Ash and his journey with his friends and his Pokemon. It kind of solidified his character overall, not just in this series, but throughout the whole Pokemon anime entirely, because we've always known to see him try his best and, you know, do what he can to be the very best like no one ever was. And I mean, bro, he's a champion now. He done it. So that's what I think.
He's done it indeed. I'll be sure to include a Twitter moment link in the description below, which will include all the links to our reactions to Ash vs. Kukui, because it was one hell of a journey. I've loved those reactions, and I might bring them over to YouTube soon, so stay tuned. Just, you know, we've got some copyright issues, but we'll see. But for now, they're on there on Twitter if you want to watch them. Regardless of reactions, though, Zach, what do you think about Ash's character in Sun and Moon, then?
I feel like this might be my favorite, like,
Whoa.
I guess, portrayal of Ash. Don't hold me to it, but like, I just really like the fact that they kind of like what Raph said is like they have like a nice balance now, because before, especially in XY, like Ash was mostly serious, and not to say that he never had his goofy moments, because he does, but people will be like, oh, but look, Ash was this and that, and you know what I mean. But X and Y mostly wanted to focus on how cool Ash was and how he affected everyone else because of how cool he was. So like I feel like a lot of his character was kind of lost. Like he does have his moments, but he doesn't really show his true self as much as Sun and Moon does, especially since Sun and Moon is so laid back and it's more comedy based. Ash can be himself more. He can be more goofy and like childish, and some people don't like that, but I mean he's 10 years old. You don't want a 10-year-old to act like a 10-year-old. Like you want a 10-year-old to act like he's 20. Like no. Like, I feel like Sun and Moon is a lot more realistic with its setting and stuff. Like Ash is goofy because he's always been that way since the original series, but he's also serious when he battles. It's not like I keep bringing this back to Black and White, and not to bash on Black and White because I feel like I do that enough, but but just the fact that like a lot of people were comparing Sun and Moon to Black and White back then, and they're like, oh, they reset Ash, he sucks just like Black and White. No, he doesn't. I mean, Ash is still goofy and silly and childish, but when it comes to battling, you can see that he still has the same battle style and his same like just badassness when he battles. It's just that you don't see it that much, especially during the first season of Sun and Moon, because there wasn't really that many battles to begin with. But as the series progressed and we got to see more action and stuff, and we got to see Ash battle more, you can still see that he still kind of has his sort of like XY vibes when he battles, which is really cool. Like, yeah, he loses some, but doesn't mean he can't be perfect. He's not supposed to be perfect, but like, that's what I really love about Sun and Moon. It's like he can be a goofball, but then when it's time to battle, like he's serious. I think the only time when he battles and when it's not really that serious is when Rowlet is involved, and that's
I was gonna mention that.
The boy,
like, whenever Rowlet battles, there's always like a joke involved, but like you never really see a joke or something like that when Lycanroc is battling or when Torracat is battling. Well, now Incineroar. But like it's always so like they have that nice balance, you know what I mean? So like I really appreciate that, and I love how they developed Ash's character more with his Pokemon. Like I love how all his Pokemon have different personalities, and he's been able to work with each and every one of them in their own way. I also love like his relationship with Professor Kukui. That might be like one of my favorite, like top 5 like things I love about Sun and Moon. How he has like that father and son relationship where like it's so weird how like it all comes together. How like Ash met Kukui as a kid, and that inspired Kukui to like make the league, and like Ash was inspired by the Mask Royal, who turned out to be Kukui, who was the person he inspired. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like this all culminated to him becoming like the champion, which is crazy. And it's like, I mean, he doesn't have to be super serious like to be the champion. Because he can be serious when he battles, but then he can still be himself outside of battles, which is what I really love. And Sun and Moon isn't very battle heavy, so like it also has very good character moments as well. Like and I feel like this might be like, I don't know, like I don't want to say the most mature Ash has been because he's super childish, so that might contradict what I'm saying, but I feel like Sun and Moon is also very good at handling serious moments, like when Stoutland's death and the Minior episode when Poipole was sad and Ash was just there for it. Like it's just like, I don't know, like these little moments really help like shine some more light into Ash's character, unlike other series. Again, not to say that they don't have their moments, but I just feel like Sun and Moon is very character focused instead of like being about battles. So we get to see a little bit more of Ash the character instead of Ash the Pokemon trainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can definitely agree that.
It's just so wholesome thinking about it in general, literally.
Yeah, man. It's crazy as well because literally, I would hate seeing those funny moments because I'd always not funny moments, funny faces, relating it back to like how serious he was in X and Y. But as the series progressed, I just realized, hey, we've actually gotten to see more of Ash's personality here. Not to say that he didn't have some moments in XY, but it just feels more realistic as we've established here. in Sun and Moon, so that feels really nice. What I also like about Ash in Sun and Moon, to try bring another point that we haven't stated already, is how he's even been adapting to a daily life basis. Like, he's learned to actually cook now. He's learned to actually wash up, and that's pretty cool to see, in my opinion. Like, because he'd always leave his companions to do that stuff for him, you know? Like, he would have his cook, Brock, Silent, or Clement. The washing up would be done off screen, but we've actually seen him try to adapt to washing up in episode 6, and then he's been fine with it now.
The best Sun and Moon episode?
Oh, no, shush. we do not speak about that, but we'll get to that later, actually, because of a later question. But, yeah, he just feels so good in Sun and Moon, just what we've established already. I try not to bring up some other points as well, because I was literally saying to these guys in our WhatsApp group that I'm planning to make a video about Ash's entire character development in Sun and Moon, and there's so many points I've written on this notepad dedicated to that.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Big tease as well.
Like, from how he became champion to... Oh, you know what? I will mention this, Phil. The Tapu Koko trial. It was revealed in the latest Sun and Moon episode, the finale of Ash vs. Kukui, that the reason why Tapu Koko came to battle Ash pretty much was for a grand trial, his final test in Alola, and it also brought it back to the Pikachium Z, which that will also be another video explaining the Pikachium Z, because everyone seems to think it's an ass pull still, but I beg to differ. We'll get to that later. But yeah, like, there's so many stuff here that I can't wait to talk about. But yeah, that's all I'll say. I'll close down this notepad so I don't end up ranting on about something else. So yeah, I guess we'll move on to the next question now. Which is, how do you feel about each member of Ash's Alola team, and which one would be your personal favorite member and least favorite member if we had to choose? So, to make this more easier, I guess we'll just start with the first Pokemon he captured, which is God! Rowlet! How do you feel about God? We'll start with you, Zach. How do you feel about him?
Oh my god, dude, I love God. Like,
take this out of context.
like, I mean, I've been a Rowlet stan since like before like the anime even started. Like Sun and Moon, I knew that Rowlet was gonna be my starter. I mean, he just looks like he's so funny, but he's also cool and cute at the same time. He's awesome. He's awesome. So like the fact that Ash got one in the anime was even greater. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now it kind of sucked for Rowlet because like in season 2 he kind of didn't do anything. Like season 1 was a good introduction to Rowlet, and he was shown to be pretty good in battle when he wanted to be. I mean, he had that sleepy personality where he was always sleeping, but when it came time to battle for like against Hala and Olivia, he did get serious and get the job done. And even I think he helped out with Totem Gumshoes and Totem Lorenzus.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, like, and there was like potential. Maybe he could evolve. Maybe he can get better, you know. But then he spent most of season 2 asleep. But then, goddamn, season 3 came in.
He was charging up.
He was saving his energy to become God.
Season 3 just like dumped so much development onto him, and like he's awesome. And even though he's not gonna evolve because he ate an Everstone, he doesn't need to evolve because he's God. Like, God doesn't need to evolve. He is who he is, you know? He's
God
as
is
good
one.
as he needs to be. But like, nah, in all serious, like I really like him. He's funny, but he can also battle. And a lot of people don't like the fact that he sleeps all the time and whatever. And, you know, there's that controversial battle against House Decidueye. But like at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like they handled him really well. He's definitely the comic relief of a comedy show.
Oh, 100%.
Like everyone has their comedy moments, but you know, I feel like Rowlet's definitely the funniest out of Ash's group, and I like the fact that it's like he's not just supposed to be the funny Pokemon like Oshawott in Black and White. He was the comic relief, which means he sucked in battle. He was just funny and he was just slapstick humor and lost all the time. But Rowlet is funny, but he can also kick ass as well, which is awesome. He's just a small Rowlet.
Hell yeah. Raph, anything you want to add on to that?
The chosen one, literally. I'm literally just going to mimic everything Zach said because I think he's just hit a nail on the head. Like, Rowlet's personality was just unreal. We've seen obviously Pokemon that tend to like form into memes and everything, but this guy literally, has had so much fan art surrounding him, his personality, facial expressions, and even how Rowlet performed in battle. Like Zach was saying, it was amazing to see it jump from it's sort of like how can I say it? Its sleepy personality and then into literal god, a secret powerhouse. And especially it kept its cool as well when it had its rivalry with How's Decidueye and everything like that. And of course we'll mention that later on in the podcast. But I just thought it was pretty incredible for how such a small Pokemon that didn't sort of develop into its full final form in terms of evolution still managed to keep its original personality and just develop its raw power, even though it had an Everstone in its stomach. But like literally, it was just incredible. Literally.
When it came to Rowlet for me, this may come
Excuse
as a
me, call him by his official name.
yeah,
God.
sorry. When it comes to
Ben.
when it comes to God, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe in him at first. I remember when
You didn't believe in God?
Man.
Yeah.
You're an unbeliever?
in God?
when the capture episode released, I felt like it was a bit overrated with what everyone was saying on Twitter. I just found it to be a normal sort of capture episode, and then I felt like he just performed alright in battles after that, but it just got kind of worse for me in season 2 because, like Zach said, he was just pretty much sleeping, and then just randomly as well in the Tapu Bulu episode, he just randomly wakes up, learns Razor Leaf, and goes back to sleep. And that's all he really gets in season 2. I'm like, what? But
It was just a taste of his power. He was still charging
Yeah.
then.
yeah, that's what I realized. But season 3 came around, he got his he started to get some redemption from me because of the How debut episode where he was training to try and beat Dartrix and successfully managed to do that. Finally having his own rival to test him, like how Lycanroc and Torracat had their own rival, which really helped towards their development, which we'll speak more about that later. And then, I don't know, man, like, just when the Alola League came around and I just saw how well he performed against the Decidueye, I was also laughing during that battle because I found it pretty hilarious how the anime trolled us that Ash was losing, but Rowlet was just being his normal self. I found that pretty hilarious. And just the raw power he showed after that, it was extraordinary. And then after that as well, I know this isn't relating to the anime, but I then started my Ash Ketchum Team Challenge for Alola, and then Rowlet, much like how he's kind of been in the anime, ended up being one of the most powerful Pokemon on Ash's team, which made my chat go, oh my god, Rowlet's good! And I was like, hell yeah. And then I started to even like Rowlet more as a Pokemon, because even when it came to X and Y, I was kind of disappointed that Ash caught Hawlucha, because I really didn't like its design. But thanks to the anime, it made me start to appreciate Hawlucha more as a Pokemon, and even enjoy using it in the games, which exactly happened with Rowlet here for me as well. And then he just performed so good against Braviary and even Venusaur as well. And then is where I was just like, alright, that's it, Rowlet's good. And then I watched his previous battles back and I was like, okay, Rowlet's actually been pretty powerful this whole time. I don't know why I was sleeping on this dude, but
Pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's such a lovable bird, and I'm glad I finally managed to realize what everybody else saw in him later on into the series. Yeah, and shameless plug, but Rowlet God merch is now out. It should be by the time this video is out. So if you like Rowlet, be sure to cop one of those, I guess. But yeah, what a lovable bird. I pretty much I tweet about Rowlet once a week now. Oh, one final thing I do want to add to Rowlet though. Guys, Even though he's not
Yes.
fully evolved, you don't need to be fully evolved to be powerful. I think Rowlet has shown that, and it's been a theme in the anime ever since the very beginning, the original series. Squirtle didn't evolve and he was powerful. Bulbasaur didn't evolve and he was very powerful. Like, I just don't like how everyone whines about how they want him to evolve. Yeah, Decidueye is cool, I know, but I like what they were doing with Rowlet here, just showing that once again, not fully evolved Pokemon can be powerful. It just depends on how well their friendship is with their trainer, the training they do, which we have seen Rowlet go through vigorous training. An example is the How episode, the debut one, that is. And yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I did make a whole tweet about this. I'm trying to remember what else I said in there, but you should generally get the idea of what I'm pretty much saying for Rowlet there. But yeah, just all together, I didn't like him at first, but I grew to love him, and now I pray to him every single day before going to bed because he is our Lord and Savior, God.
Amen.
Amen. Alright, let's move on to the second Pokemon Ash caught in Alola. Lycanroc. Which one of you wants to go first for Lycanroc?
I don't mind going
Since you already started, jeez. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, from the very beginning, when Rockruff got introduced, I think we all did, but I could just tell that something big was going to happen with this Pokemon. Not in the sense of it receiving a distinctive evolution, but just its whole development. And it actually brings up the topics of some of my favorite episodes as well. For example, episode 15, where we see Rockruff, attending that challenge with all the Pokemon, and there's like a Dust Lycanroc, and yeah, literally the Fight Club, man. That just goes to show that despite its form, it was going out during the night trying to train itself. Even coming back in such a poor state. Literally, the commitment that Pokemon had is kind of similar to. I was going to mention it with Litten a bit later on, but it had a lot of perseverance, and even when it was taking on Olivia, like, bro, seeing that final scene of it evolving with its other two forms, well, its pretended evolutionary forms, and then I remember seeing the orange wolf shine, and I was thinking, huh? What the heck is going on? Like, it was just like such a big shock. I mean, that day obviously it was a big shock in the Pokemon community because they were revealing it for the Gen 7 games, and it was just like, is this a glitch, or is this just like some stupid troll? Because why is it orange? Why is it got green eyes that changed later on to red eyes? Like, it was just amazing for Rockruff to like just come so far from literally a little woof woof and evolve into the big boy that it is now. And bro, like, come on, look at how it performed in battles later on, and even in the Alola League. Like,
he helped Ash get the W.
There you go, man. And like, even taking on his, like, let's say it, quote unquote, childhood rival, being Midnight Lycanroc, Gladian's Lycanroc, after it would always pet it after it performed well. And seeing that again, obviously after the battle, once it defeated him, it was just such a nice touch. It was such a nice touch, and I really, really do like, Dusk Lycanroc. But yeah, man, it's good doggo.
That's
best doggo probably.
That's a good way to say it in a nutshell. Good doggo. All right, Psych, what are you gonna say?
Good doggo indeed.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, it was so cool because, first of all, I don't think any of us expected that Ash was gonna get a Rockruff, because like, this whole time it was assumed that it was Professor Kukui's Rockruff, just like in the games.
Oh yeah.
But then all of a sudden Kukui reveals, no, it's a wild one. Ash, you can have it. It's like, wait, what? Like, dude, I was so hyped because I freaking love Lycanroc. And then once Gladion was introduced with his Lycanroc and they had that kind of rivalry, then I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, because like now this is like setting up for like eventually down the line, whenever they have the battle, you're probably gonna see Ash battle Gladion in the league, and he's gonna face off against Lycanroc. And I mean, obviously it did happen. It's kind of predictable when you think about it, but still, like, it gave us something to look forward to. And then, so it was just really cool. And then obviously you saw the evolution that it was revealed, and it was a big deal. And it was really cool when it was like side by side with the other two Lycanroc forms, and Gladion's Lycanroc was there for it. So it was like, it was really nice build up to its character, how it had this rivalry with Gladion's Lycanroc, but it was never strong enough. And then it had like that whole little arc where, like, whenever it got its fur dirty, it would get upset. Which was funny. It was like something Ash had to overcome. And even Gladion was there, and he told him, "Oh, you still need a lot of training with your Lycanroc." And then that, like, my favorite part about Lycanroc was the Ula Ula Island arc, because that whole arc was literally dedicated to Ash training his Lycanroc, getting over that anger that it has when it gets its fur dirty, and mastering its red-eyed form when it powers up and gets ready for battle, which was really cool. And then that really made me like enjoy Lycanroc even more. And then of course they led up to him winning the league for Ash, the good boy, the good doggo. So all around, he's really great. Obviously, like, it's very hard to tell now because like almost all of Ash's Pokemon are powerhouses. But like, at least for during that time in season 2, like Lycanroc was easily Ash's ace of the team, which I really appreciated. I mean, I freaking love Lycanroc in the game, so I'm glad they did him really well in the anime, which made me like Lycanroc, like Lycanroc even more.
You two really hitting the nail on the head of what I was pretty much gonna say for Lycanroc as well, though, to be honest. I don't really know what else I could possibly add on to that, except maybe...
We're not letting you speak.
that you like the Lycan, maybe.
Except for, I guess Nanu's trial, like, Ash thought, Lycanroc was still angry when it had its red eyes, but he realized that, no, it wasn't angry. He was just letting Nanu get to him, and I found that to be a pretty cool addition to that whole development, just showing that Ash lacked some trust in Lycanroc at that moment in time, but eventually when he stared into Lycanroc's eyes and saw, oh wait, you're the same, and then boom, they beat Nanu is extraordinary. But yeah, that's all I've really got to add to that, to be honest. That battle was one of the best. And then then this doggo won Ash the league. Greninja could never. Sorry, Zach.
Ouch.
Oh, gosh. I'm gonna flame you after this.
Oh,
literally.
Alright, well, Litten's next, and I'll start for Litten here. I was very intrigued with Litten from the very beginning. It was shown in a lot of the earlier episodes, like episode 1, the episode where the starters got lost. It was just being built up to be caught by Ash this whole time. Everybody was just waiting for that moment until it gets caught. And I found that build up to be pretty exciting. Of course, we had the Alola Persian episode as well, which is where Ash firstly trained with Litten in that episode, I believe he did. Yeah. And then we then get to that beautiful episode 21 where it tackles the theme of death, Litten's mentor dying, Stoutland, and then Litten basically fell into depression and nowhere to go, but Ash was always there beside Litten every single day, bringing it some food, checking up on it whether it's okay, and then eventually, when Litten looked up into the clouds and saw Stoutland, and then appreciated what Ash did for it, it finally decided to go with Ash, and I just loved that whole combination so much. And then after that, I'm not gonna lie, Litten was kinda underused. All we really
boring.
saw it. Or what we saw after that, after the capture episode, was it Master Firefang, which, yeah, sure, it's some kind of development, but it's nothing too special. The episode was kind of weirder as well, to be honest. And then Totem Larantus, but like, I don't really have anything too special to say for that Totem battle in general, because I've already explained it on my channel. And then finally, within season 2, it finally started to get some relevance. It got its own rival, which was Kukui's Incineroar. It tried to beat it, but obviously it got pounded. And then we had the whole training montage with Ash and Litten, and then they managed to evolve, which that entire battle is still one of my favorite small battles we've ever seen from the Sun and Moon anime. And And then ever since then, Torracat's just been training so hard to try and beat Incineroar because it finally had a rival and it wants to be as cool as Incineroar. It was like its own role model, just like how Ash looked up to the Mask Royale, aka Kukui, as a role model as well. And then what I love the most about when it comes to Torracat's character is how it refused to evolve in its battle against Incineroar within the league until it defeated Incineroar. It wants to prove it can be strong without evolving. It really wanted to show that strong willpower that it had inside. That has to be the best part regarding its whole character. And then of course it evolved after asserting its dominance, and then it fainted, which was pretty funny, but also makes sense when it comes to how the games work. So just in general, Torracat, at first it had good build up, a slow middle, but eventually when it got Incineroar as a rival, it started to make its way to be one of my favorite Pokemon in Ash's Alola team. So yeah. Zach,
8.
anything you want to add on to this?
All right. Well, I mean, you said a lot of it already, but I mean, Litten was very interesting with the whole fact that it had like Stoutland, and then it had Stoutland, and then it was learning how to train to use Fire Fang, but then Stoutland died, and Ash was there for it. So there was like definitely a lot of interest in this Pokemon because everybody knew like something was gonna happen with it because of how it was built up that Ash was gonna eventually catch it, and then he did, and then Litten did nothing. It was boring for like a long time, but thankfully, once the Mask Royal was introduced, and then we had his Incineroar come out, and they developed that rivalry, then that finally made Litten a lot more interesting. And like literally almost every single Mask Royal episode, Litten gets some sort of development. I think the only one where it didn't get anything was the one where Faba had to dress up as, as Mask Royal. That was more of like a funny episode with like Kukui and Burnett, but like other than that, like every other episode that featured Mask Royal and Incineroar, like Litten got development. Like it evolved. They learned how to use Flame Charge. They learned how to use Revenge. They got the Fire MZ when they went back in time, and then it freaking evolved when they battled in the league. Like so, it was just really awesome that literally like Lynn's character, he was training to be strong, but now it finally had a reason to be strong for, you know what I mean? Like it kept training because after Stoutland's death, it trained with Ash, obviously, but it didn't really get as much development until like it finally had like a goal in mind to beat Kukui's Incineroar, and then it did, which is like an awesome payoff. In many ways, I think it's way more satisfying than when Ash's Lycanroc beat Gladion's Lycanroc.
Oh well, actually, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Oh, for sure, yeah.
100%.
I forgot to mention actually, like they in episode 63, the episode where it evolved into Torracat, they literally did the same kind of training Rockruff did as well, and that just reminded me of how much I love the relationship between Rockruff and Litten as well. They've always been looking out for each other to become stronger. But that's all I really had to add on. So, Raph, you can say any last thoughts on...
Well, bros, I'm not going to lie, you've literally taken the words out of my mouth like we did with the previous Pokemon, but if there's one thing that I can just reiterate with the whole development of Litten would have to be its perseverance. Like, as we mentioned before, it got knocked down really hard when Stoutland passed away, and, you know, it was all alone, and it had to, like, you know, survive for itself, and then when Ash came along and started taking care of it, it started to see a new... I was going to say spark, but it's not an electric type. It started to see a new flame in itself, and that pushed it to, of course, you know, once again, the key word is just to persevere. And when evolving into Torracat, and then its whole rivalry with Kukui's Incineroar, and then, of course, like the big shocking moment of it pushing itself to the limit when it was blazed up. I mean, full of flames against Kukui's Incineroar in the Alola League, and then literally hitting the last hit, evolving into Incineroar, was just so jaw-dropping, because it came from such a rough background to, like, you know, living itself in harm to now overcoming that and being literally one of Ash's strongest Pokemon. Like, bro, like that Pokemon's mentality for its raw power was just insane. And it all paid off, even if its eyes did faint after it evolved.
Yes. Next up is Poipo. I know. In fact, it's like you can go first. I know we share the same thoughts on Poipo.
All right, Poipo. All right, these are my words for Poipo. Why?
Exactly.
Like, no disrespect, because I love Poipo and Agonadel. Like, they're my favorite poison types. But why? Like, what was the point of Ash catching it if he was never going to use it in a battle and he was going to release it? And then, okay, it's cool. He came back. He's fully evolved. But why? Like, his whole reason for being released was because he wanted to stay and protect his friends. I literally just watched the episode earlier today. I rewatched it. And like Naganadel says, oh, Poipo wants to stay with us to protect his friends. Okay, so why did he come back? I mean, I don't know.
Never
I mean, he was cute. He was cute. He was cool, but he didn't do anything. He wasn't in the team long enough to do anything, which is annoying. I mean, he was there for Ash's Ula Ula trial, but he didn't participate because that whole arc was for Lycanroc. It just seemed like the only reason what he was there was to connect Ash and the gang to the Necrozma storyline at the end of the arc. And then, okay, bye. But then, oh, wait, let's have a full battle at the end of the league. It's cool. Let's bring Poipo back, but evolve it so it can be strong enough to compete. And again, it was cool. I liked it because it was way more interesting now that it evolved and participated in the league. Like, it's an awesome battler, and it still has its like funny personality with it twirling around. And like, I feel like it's kind of better now because it's like so big. It's like a giant baby. So I love it, but it's just like, why? Like, just so that's just it. Like, why? Like, I just kind of wish if Ash had it, they shouldn't have never released it, so he can finally get some battles, get more development, because it had so much potential, but they just didn't do anything. So it just feels wasted Pokemon basically, and it looks like it's getting released next week again. So, it's cool, but it could have been better.
Exactly. You know, so I have seen some people argue, oh, the reason why it was caught as a Pokemon is just so Ash could finally use it in the Alola League after that first battle with Team Skull. Yeah, but Kukui literally commanded Tapu Koko, which he doesn't own, so Ash could have done the same with Naganador regardless. So that's something else to consider. But Zach pretty much took the words out of my mouth right there. The only other thing,
the same with me.
The only other thing I could really reiterate would be that at least when it comes to Poipo's personality, I feel like it's the perfect example of Sun and Moon's friendship themes, because it literally connected everything together with the Necrozma rock. Its personality just screams fun. I like
especially
it for
with
that
its
reason.
drawings. Don't forget when he used to do its drawings as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He used to love its drawings. It always showed off its personality with its drawings, and like even when it waved goodbye and it drew Pikachu and Ash in the ground and the snow, I was like, oh, what are you doing? Just stay, or just if you are gonna be on the team, like don't do that. Just like it was really confusing. Like Zach said, one word, why? But
honestly, like I kind of know why it was released. I mean, like if it were up to me, I wouldn't release it so it can get the proper development. But I feel like the reason it was released is so it wouldn't overshadow the next slot that we're going to talk about, Meltan, because he's going to have 2 legendaries. So I feel like they released Poipo so we can get rid of one legendary so we can focus on the other, because it would be kind of hard to try to balance developing 2 legendaries at the same time, especially when Meltan is the much newer, shinier legendary, because Let's Go was out at the time. So maybe if Meltan came out earlier and got more development in season 2, or like just not have Poipo like in general, you know, I don't know. It was just, that's the reason why they wanted to make room for Meltan. You can't really balance both of them. So yeah, it makes sense, but it's still like, it's annoying, and it's pretty obvious that this Pokemon did nothing left for one reason, but then completely contradicts that reason by coming back with no explanation. It's just, why? At the end of the day, why?
Yeah, like it don't even explain it in the subtitles either. Like we've checked,
he's just here.
He's just there. Like sure, Ultra Wormholes were opening up, but it just doesn't make any sense still. But Yeah, you did remind me though that Naganado could technically be considered a legendary, and it was kind of cool back in the day to see, oh my god, Ash is catching a legendary for the first time ever. But that's pretty
And
high.
then he left.
And then that happened. But something else as well. I was saying this to Sack. It didn't need to be caught either because it just felt like a Nebby pretty much. Like it didn't even need to be caught. It should have been something like Nebby, and it would have still worked exactly the same. Especially when it comes to Alola League, because like I said, Cuckoo commanded Tapu Koko who he didn't own, which Ash could have done the same with Naganado. So he literally could have been another Nebby, but nope, the writers decided to slap a Pokeball on there just so he could expect some battles where he only ever received technically one, because I don't even like to count the team score one because it was only like 5 seconds long. So yeah.
I think they pushed it in with the direction of when Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, and when we got that trailer of the Ultra Recon squad throwing out a Beast Ball with a brand new Ultra Beast, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what the heck is this? Is this a blah blah blah? Is this a blah blah blah?" And then obviously, the whole Ultra Megalopolis, and I could see why, the writers would probably want to push it in this direction just to give once again Ash another sort of quote unquote exclusive Pokemon. But I mean, they already solidified that with Dust Lycanroc, and then with Poipole was probably like you guys were just mentioning, it was just a temporary fix, and it's a shame that it has to disappear again, but this time for permanent reasons.
It is what it is. Our last Alola team member, though, I believe improved upon Poipole very well. Like,
oh, so good.
Yeah, first of all, he's had more battles than Poipole, which I like because we got to see a little bit of some development. I'm kind of disappointed that Melton ignoring Ash in the Ryuki battle didn't get touched upon again. I was hoping that would lead into some little kind of story arc, but I still thoroughly believe that Melton was Poipole done right. It improved upon all the mistakes I had with, not mistakes, just problems I had with Poipole. So yeah, I mean it was so cute as well, but I love it
so cute, man.
Yeah,
and oh gosh,
go on.
You know what? There's a couple of things that I really love about Pokemon. All right, I'm going to do a quick storytelling time. When the Pokemon Go event came out, and I was literally playing football, I remember going on Pokemon Go, and I was thinking to myself, what is this nut? What is this? And then seeing, obviously, it get introduced in the Let's Go games, and then, Ash obtaining Meltdown on his team, and oh my gosh, the relationship it had with Rowlet as well. Like, that was just so good, man. It was just such a nice mini, like, how can I explain it? It's just a nice little touch that they would add onto the anime to show, again, obviously Ash's, team members having a good relationship between them and not, having any confrontation. Whereas, like, obviously, as we're seeing in the recent preview of the latest episode, we can see how Dust Lycanroc is looking at Incineroar thinking, bro, you used to be smaller than me. Now you're literally like twice as big. Like, what the heck is going on?
Even the food's increased.
Yeah. But I felt like Meltan was just a really, really cute Pokemon, and its size just showed that, obviously, when it evolved, and like, I think the best example to prove this right is when it took on Empoleon, and like Empoleon's face looking back at Cuckoo was like, bro, what the hell am I gonna do with this guy? Like, and it defeated him. It was amazing. It was amazing. Like,
glad he wasn't a good driver. Oh, same goes for Naganado there as well.
Yeah, man. Like, Meltan and then Melmetal overall was just again something that was just distinctive to be brought to the anime. Obviously, of course, it being the mythical it is, it's just like, bruh. Ash is getting all this special treatment, but we don't care. He's the champion and he deserves it, so shut up.
Yeah, Sun and Moon definitely loved being different. That's something I love about it so much, but more on that later. Zach, anything else you gotta add on to our boy Melton? The son of the god.
God.
Jesus.
I love how, Raph hit most of it, but man, like Meltan was just so cool. He's super cute and awesome. Even though I thought he was so weird when he was first revealed, like for Pokemon Go, but then actually seeing him in the anime and in action, he's a pretty cute boy. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, I just love him, and I love how like his character helped improve Rowlet's character because Rowlet literally had nothing to do for season 2, but then all of a sudden Meltan got attached to Rowlet, so now they kind of help each other develop. Like
A mentor of some sort, I guess.
yeah, like Meltan helped defend Rowlet when they're being attacked by Team Rocket. Meltan came out of nowhere and tried to battle Ryuki when Rowlet was battling Ryuki and stuff like that. And it was during that same battle that Rowlet learned how to use Brave Bird. So like I really love how like it not only was great as itself, but it also helped Rowlet develop, which we had problems with, but now he helped it become God. Or he was God all along, and we just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just awesome. And then I love seeing it evolve into Melmetal, and I like how this is one thing I really love about Sun and Moon is that like each Pokemon has their own personality and they keep it even after they evolve.
Oh,
Because
yes.
even with Meltan, we see that like even though he evolved, he's still like the same little like energetic little nut. Like
Yeah.
like if you see him when he gets sent out to battle Faba, he's like excited and he's like flexing, he's like getting ready to go, and he kind of has that same personality right after he evolves as well. And it's kind of goofy now because he's so big and slow. Like when Ash sends him out to battle Gladion, he just kind of charges in forward, and he was a little bit disobedient there too, Ben. Kind of going back to like what you were saying. So like they don't really touch on it that much anymore, but like I remember like the first shot, like after Ash sends it out and they start the battle, like he just, all right, Meltan, let's go, and he just starts running before Ash even finishes his sentence, and it's just like really funny because he's like so like derpy, like so big, and like
man.
he's trying to be energetic, but he's so slow and muscular and big, but like man, I love him, and he's definitely a powerhouse. And I mean, it sucks that we probably won't get to see that much of him anymore because the series is ending. But I feel like it's kind of how it is, because if Ash had a legendary way earlier on, then it would just make him too OP. So might as well just have it like Meltan was like the perfect one. It was almost like you said, Poi pulled on right, because it's a legendary that can evolve, but its first form is very small, so you can kind of make it weak. But then when it evolves, it's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it was just done well. And now I love how like Meltan was always sleeping with Rowlet in the backpack, but now that it's so big that like Rowlet sleeps inside of Melmetal.
Oh, yeah, I
in the
loved
big-
seeing that.
That's just awesome. And it's also like just the fact that like kind of going over all Pokemon, all his whole entire team in general, since Meltan was the last member. How what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so like each team member, they kind of have their own pairs. So like Torracat and Lycanroc, they were like a pair because they were always like training partners and they were both competitive. Pikachu and Poipole, because Poipole loves Pikachu, like Pikachu's electricity, so they were really close because of that. And then we even see that even when it came back. And then Meltan had Rowlet because they were always sleeping buddies, and now they always care for each other. And it's like really cool how like each team member, they have like their own partner, their own pair. You know what I mean? So it's like really cool how that kind of all came together in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know we've been saying that, oh yeah, Incineroar is one of Ash's strongest Pokemon. Oh, we think Lycanroc could be the ace of Ash's team, but in reality though, pretty much all of them were balanced. For once, it doesn't feel like Ash has an ace because of how they all got equal development, I know we've definitely discussed that before. So that's one thing I like about his Alola team in general. How, for once, it feels all balanced instead of one member getting shafted because the ace needs more screen time or something like that.
Torterra.
Yeah, that as well. So yeah, it's Alola team's definitely one of the strongest as well. I know many people still like to claim it's the weakest, but no, it definitely isn't. It
They
definitely
won him the league, man.
And
Literally.
it's not plot armor either. Yeah, sure, we had 2 evolutions doing the league, but it was. I still feel like it worked nicely for the story. So. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I guess everyone has their own opinions. That's okay, but I just do definitely see the Alola team as one of the strongest.
100%, man. Yeah.
So I guess judging by from everything we've said here, I guess that means Poipole would be our least favorite member of Ash's Alola team if we had to choose. Well, meanwhile, I guess Incineroar's our favorite. Am I correct there, guys? I feel like that is with what we've been saying. Or
Yeah.
Lycanroc.
I would probably have a
No,
tie
God.
between. Yeah. Oh God.
I mean,
Oh,
between
I
God,
can't think.
all right, season 2 God is nothing. But like season 3 made me like really like him. So I don't know. I'm so torn because every time I think I have a favorite, then like somebody else like comes up and then gets awesome development. So it's like
I think, like Ben said, they're just all balanced, and we all like the same balanced way, I guess.
That's
but
fair enough, yeah.
It
honestly for
depends.
me it's like a three-way tie between God, Lycanroc, and Incineroar. I mean, God maybe a little less because of how little it was developed. I mean, it came up good, but like Lycanroc and Incineroar, I feel like they're like the top two for me.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. God, yeah, I love God so much as well.
Wait, hold on. Before we go, shout out Pikachu as well. Pikachu put in the
Oh
work.
crap! Yeah,
Shout out
the
Pikachu.
Pikachu MC that worked wondrous choice for him as well, and put him some good work as well. I mean, the only problem I have with Pikachu is how he is just a Hapu battle. Like, I do not like that battle whatsoever, but not because of the soak thing. I'm fine with the soak thing because we've seen stuff like that in the anime before. Literally, like the 5th episode of the anime, Brock's debut, but I just didn't like how Pikachu took so many ground type moves and still managed to live. But I still love Pikachu regardless of that battle. Oh god, the Cuckoo battle. Oh my god. And then he's had his other nice moments. Do you guys have anything you want to say for Pikachu? Before we move
Pikachu
on?
best chew.
I knew you were gonna say that.
The
I
only
mean,
chew.
I think like Pikachu, like I mean, there's not really much to say. We all know Pikachu, but like
We all
I feel
know
like in
it as
Alola
well.
it was done really well. I mean, Pikachu's always just Pikachu. What else is there to say? But I feel like I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
go
what was
on,
that?
No,
Oh,
after you, bro.
alright.
After you.
So like it's just the fact that like they didn't do the whole like reset thing where like I think it was like Black and White they reset Pikachu a bit, and Advanced Series they kind of did it again like as well. Like they didn't reset Pikachu like everyone likes to think happens every series, but it doesn't. Like Pikachu's been pretty consistent. It was good against the Grand Trial against Hala. It did Hapu, even though it wasn't that great of a battle, but it still won against the Mudsdale. And in the league, it's been freaking killing it. It got so many one-hit kills in the
Two
Battle Royale.
legendaries.
Two legendaries, like Galisopod, like Pikachu's been killing it, like as always. But should be worth mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad
One thing I
someone
like
reminded
about
me.
Pikachu as well was the way, even though it is electric type, it was able to adapt to, various C moves and stuff and still pull out massive pack a punch on everything as well. So, shout out Pika.
But we still know Amolga's the best electric rodent, right? Yeah? Yeah?
Oh, for God's sake. Here we
I'm
go.
joking. I'm
You
joking.
had to plug yourself. No, I'm joking.
Oh man, no, I did not expect us to spend that long on question 3, to be honest. But it just goes to show, to be honest, how much we adore Ash's Alola team. So I'm all right with
You're
it
right.
being that long.
You're right.
So I guess we can now finally move on to the next question, and that hopefully this one don't take as long. But this question is: who is your favorite and least favorite character aside from Ash in the Sun and Moon anime, and why? So we'll start with our favorites. I actually don't know from you two. You two definitely know who my favorite character is, but I don't actually know what your favorite character is.
Rotom.
Rotomon.
Oh my god. Anyway, I guess we'll start with you, Raph. Who is your favorite Sun and Moon character aside from Ash?
Bro, I've got a few, I'll be honest. I mean, if we're looking at his classmates, I'll probably have to say Kiawe and Lily.
Oh, Kiawe, okay.
But I really, really love Kiawe, man. Like, literally, this guy was just such an amazing Alolan. Don't forget the word Alolan. Alolan father figure to Ash. Like, just from the very beginning when he met him, nurtured him a little bit and just like taught him the ropes and just gave him that sort of motivation as well. And one thing that I really did like about Cuckoo was how, like, it's the compliments. Like, your Pokemon are really great. Oh, your battles are really good. Your Pokemon's really strong. It was just such a nice touch in compared to like for example, it was essentially like in that episode, the Alola League, the exhibition match. It kind of showed him as not only a father figure but also a rival to Ash. And even though that they were battling each other, Kukui still managed to show that caring father personality towards him and motivate him during the battle, even though he was his opponent and he tried his best to obviously to defeat him as well. So that's something I really did like about Kukui, and he's really buff as well. So shout out to him. And Professor Burnett is literally living the life now. But if I had to choose between the classmates, I'd probably have to choose literally between Kiawe and Lily, because one, Kiawe I felt was just literally a rival that gave me something to look back on for Clement from Pokemon XY, and Lily, amazing character development, man. Coming from when she literally was frightened of Pokemon and just couldn't even bear to even look and touch at them, to
Mastered a Z move.
mastering a Z move, literally, and having her Snowy by her side, which was just incredible. But yeah, the reason I mentioned Kiawe having like that sort of Clement to him is because he always had this God, I was gonna say spark again, but jeez, man, this flame in him that literally looked at him as like a big rival for Ash. And of course, when the Alola League came around, he really wanted to beat him. Both him and Gladion both said, "I will be in the battle with Satoshi," and all that stuff. And it was good. It was good development. Like Kiawe's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Alright, nice. I'm actually surprised about that Kiari answer, but it's nice to hear that from you.
That's not me being biased about fire types, though, so don't get it twisted. But I'm being honest.
Because he has Charizard.
Yeah. That's odd.
When you said Kukui as well, I guess one thing people really wanted to see from the anime is Ash's father, and they finally got that kind of with Kukui, so that's another thing to add on to that.
Precisely, man.
Let's hear
Like,
what's
even-
like. Oh, wait, go on.
Yeah, go for it. No, go on. I'll mention it later, it's fine.
Alright, okay, if you're so sure, but Zach, who is your favourite Sun and Moon character then? I'm very intrigued to hear.
Oh man! All right, my favorite Sun and Moon character, Ash Ketchum. No, I'm kidding.
We can't say that, unfortunately.
Damn, like literally, I kid you not, it's the same as Raph. Professor Kukui is my favorite character.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and it's like I didn't realize he was my favorite until like literally like right before the league. So like before that, it was like between Lily or Kiawe, but like Lily, she had a great story like from season 1 and season 2. But I feel like after she got over her fear, there was really not that much left for her to do, which is fair because she got so much development and everyone got shafted. So like it was finally everyone's time to get development. But then for like the second half of the series, she didn't really do much. Kiawe's been cool. He's consistent, and I like his goals as well. And he's a really cool character, and he's super funny as well. But Kukui takes it for me. And I actually thought about this question so many times, but then like it finally hit me like, yo, Kukui is my favorite character because like just the fact that like we all talked about like how he's like Ash's Alolan father. He's like the father figure that we've always wanted Ash to have. And it's just been done so well. And like it's just like the little moments that Ash and Kukui has that like added up to me finally going, whoa, dude, this dude is my favorite character. Like the wedding episode with when he got married to Burnett, and the fact that like now Ash has like a freaking what's the word? Like he has like a family. I forgot the word family. But he has like an actual like family or like a mom and dad. Like when he found out that they were getting married and he hugged them, like it was just like it was so wholesome. It's like Ash is always traveling and his mom is always there for like the first or the last episode of a series, but we don't really get to see Ash like in an actual family setting. So like I feel like Professor Kukui kind of gave him that. And it was so interesting because Lily actually has Ash's role in the anime in the games, because Lily's the one who stays with Professor Kukui after she escapes the paradise. She's the one who's with Nebby the whole time, but then Ash is the one who takes Lily's role in the anime, which I found really interesting. So that kind of allowed him to have that like family dynamic. And then it's just so awesome how like he had that rivalry with Mask Royal, even though he didn't know it was Kukui. but he was always so cool when he was battling with Incineroar, and that helped develop him, develop Ash and Torracat a bit more. And then the time travel episode is what really like made me like really enjoy Professor Kukui, because like it finally explained why he wanted to make a Pokemon League in the first place, and it's because of Ash. And it's so crazy,
So awesome.
how like both of their stories in Alola are so like interconnected, and they don't even know it. And then it kind of all just came together when they finally had to battle. And I'm actually so glad that the Mask he wasn't battling as the Mask Royal, because it wouldn't be as effective as him being himself, and Ash knowing, oh, this is Professor Kukui, like the dude he's looked up to, the Mask Royal, but also his father of the series. So it's like, oh man, it was done so well. And like also just seeing Kukui all throughout the league, like just being so happy seeing all his students like battling, and like that last shot of Kukui after Ash defeats him, and he just looks around and looks at the entire league, and he goes to Ash like, oh, this was a great league, wasn't it? Like he was just so proud of like the fact that he achieved his goal to make an awesome league, just to have like awesome battles and stuff like that. And, oh man, he's just really cool. I freaking love Kukui.
Hey, wow! I'm actually shocked by the answers you two provided, but I loved hearing that. Oh my god.
Sun and Moon, bro. It's Sun and Moon.
It's Sun and Moon. It has this effect on our hearts. Even I do adore Kukui. I can adore what all of you said, but as you two know, my favorite, if I had to choose, would be Lily. I've said it so many times on this channel of why I love her character, but to put it in a nutshell,
didn't see that coming.
Oh yeah. Oh no, sorry. I've been faking about liking Lily this whole time. My favorite character is actually Rotom. Rotom, man. Oh my god, bro. He just. I actually can't say anything. Oh my god. But anyway, Lily, in a nutshell, I just find it a very nice twist to see that with a companion for once, they start without being, they started with a traumatic event. Like, imagine if you were in Lily's position when she was a kid, being abducted by an alien Pokemon, Nihilego, or however the dub pronounces it. That must have been so traumatic, and then not be able to touch Pokemon because of how traumatizing it was. It just made me really feel for her. And even when Sun and Moon Season 1 started and we didn't know about this backstory until Season 2 explored it, I was so intrigued with the mystery surrounding why Lily couldn't touch Pokemon. We all theorized, oh, Lusamine was a bitch or something, she must have done something or experimented on Lily or something like that. But no, it was just something that some people can experience in real life, a traumatic event, which even I've experienced a traumatic event in my life, so I can even relate to Lily in that kind of way. Obviously, I wasn't abducted by an alien, but
Thank God for that.
I could relate to it with that. But yeah, the whole mystery of Season 1, I've never theorized on one character so much. I was trying to come up with so many theories of why she couldn't touch Pokemon, and seeing her eventually manage to touch them all, going step by step, firstly with an egg to her own Pokemon to another Pokemon. I thought that was pretty cool. She was slowly getting there. It was nice progress. And then after finding out about a memory she tried to suppress, well, she did successfully suppress, she finally came to terms with it, and then she managed to touch all her Pokemon again. And then, oh man, it was just so, I was so happy to see her just so happy in the next episode, just being able to hug all those Pokemon. And then she played Jump Rope, one of my favorite scenes in the entire anime, just because of how happy she was. And then after that, she decided to spend her time to become a Pokemon trainer now. I mean, obviously she was, I guess she was already kind of a Pokemon trainer ever since she caught Vulpix, but now she was actually working towards it. She was learning new moves of Snowy. She was mastering her Z move once she obtained a Z ring, which I really loved that mastering Z move episode so much. The last review I made on this channel before my mental health went bad, but it was oh man, her entire story is just something I've never really experienced before. like I've never had this much emotions towards one character. Yeah, sure, like I feel like Serena's best in terms of development if we are to talk about the companions altogether from every series. But I just can't deny the fact that I think Lily has definitely been the one that has made me the most happiest and the most intrigued altogether. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, it was a bit. I was trying to only speak about her for a minute, to be honest, but ended up being a little bit longer. But it just goes to show that devotion I have towards her. I guess, like literally, I've loved it so much. Like season 2 with a whole story is what got me into Sun and Moon after season 1 wasn't the greatest in my opinion. So I also have her to thank for that, allowing me to give Sun and Moon another chance. So yeah. Oh man, my heart was racing through that because I was just experiencing those whole feelings again. Oh my god. But
It's the Sun and Moon effect.
Ben was in his feels.
this is what my subscribers know just how much I love her. She was on my YouTube banners and icons for so many years as well. Oh my god. But
She was holding you, Ben. She was holding you, even in the avatars. Yeah.
With that said, though, I guess we can now move on to something I guess will be a little bit hard for us to answer, but that is, what would our least favorite character in Sun and Moon be if we had to pick?
Easy.
Oh, go on, Zach. Then you can go first.
My least favorite character is Sophocles.
Wait,
easy.
Oh, okay. I was expecting to say Rotom, to be honest.
No, I mean, all joking aside, I mean, Rotom is alright because he only has like 4 episodes dedicated to him, and he's always on the side, so he's not really like annoying. I don't know. He's just there. But I mean, I don't like Sophocles. I mean, I don't. It's not that I hate him, but he's just not my favorite. I just never found him interesting. I just, especially after episode 6, like our favorite episode, like I don't know, like something about him, he just wasn't interesting. He was just the nerdy kid who was scared of the dark, and like I don't know. He was. I found him boring and annoying, and whenever he got an episode focused on him, I was just uninterested. They made him a little bit more interesting in season 3, finally giving him some development. His Charger-Bug evolved into Vikavolt. He got the bug Z move and all of that, and he's good at battling now. But it's like, okay, I was never really that interested. I mean, everyone else, out of the whole cast, everyone else is way more interesting than him. Like, even Mallow was a bit more interesting, and she didn't really get that much development either. But like, she was way more interesting than freaking Fat Clement, as you used to say, Ben. I mean, all joking aside, I mean, because that's kind of what he came across as in the first season, at least. Like, they finally kind of like gave him something in season 2. Like, the Minior episode made him a bit interesting, but I don't know. He just never did it for me. I mean, I'm sorry, Sophocles stands, if there's any out there, but like, he was just not interesting. Everyone else was more interesting at the end of the day. Like, I don't know.
Alright, well, fair enough. But yeah, I did used to call him Fat Clement back in the day. But I did notice some differences later on. Like, he was a little bit more rude. But he then actually started to become more nice once warming up to Ash and all of that. So I appreciate that. And then they actually turned a gag into some development, which was the whole afraid of a dog thing. I really appreciate that. And I do think the episode where he masters his Z move is definitely one of the most underrated episodes in the Sun and Moon series, because I found it pretty awesome to see him finally step out of Ash's and Kiyora's shadow to finally confront Abalo himself. So yeah, but that's all I would really have to say for Sophocles, though. I don't know if he would be my least favorite character, though. Like, I'm thinking of Rotom as well, but like, I guess it would be easy to say a side character, but I don't want to say a side character. I want to try and say a main character. So, at the end of the day, I guess I would go with Rotom, although I do like the episode where him and Ash fell out, I find that to be good. I actually mentioned it earlier on, so I don't really need to repeat myself there. So yeah, but like aside from that, like Rotom, he was just annoying at times, bro. Like the detective episode, that had nothing going for it except for the funny the funny meme with Kiyomi getting really mad at Ash. Like that's what makes that episode memorable. Then the switching forms are almost like okay, and then his debut episode, despite it being his debut episode and a Rotom focused episode, it seemed like it was more focused on Team Rocket and Mimikyu anyway. So I only really remember that from Mimikyu. In fact, I said this to Zach the other day. All Rotom's focused episodes, I don't even think of Rotom at first when talking about those episodes. I think of other things when it comes to them. So Mimikyu, I think of when it comes to his debut episode. The Ash talking to Lily in the Falling Out episode because of the beautiful speech Lily provided. The form changing episode, I just think of the small moments between Lycanroc and Litten playing. And then the detective episode, like I said, just the Kiari thing. So that just goes to show how weak some of his episodes are as well. If I'm thinking about over moments before a moment he had in that episode, you know. But I guess he was also a kind of comic relief character as well. But at least he got his own go in the Falling Out episode as well. I can appreciate that. But yeah, I guess my answer would be Rotom. Ralph, who would your least favorite character be then?
Same as Zach, it would be Sophocles. Like, I felt like, I mean, he did have some decent personality. I mean, obviously he was intelligent, you know, he was a big electric type connoisseur, but he just felt a bit like, how can I explain? He felt a bit the odd one out. He literally felt like the odd one out. I mean,
understandable.
He had like a defensive side to him as well when I can never pronounce that guy's name, man. It was the Charger Bug episode where Hiroshi, that's it, where he was getting mocked by him. Like, fair play, he wasn't just like Sophocles wasn't just like a little wimp or like some nerd that can't back himself. He was able to like you know come up with a mannerism to defend himself against quote unquote bullying. But the thing is, if there's one thing I do like about Sophocles, it would have to be his battle against Kiawe in the Alola League, where he literally had it running for him. You know, he pushed himself to the limit, and even the battles before he had in the Alola League, where he, him and Vikavolt literally just pushed their battle limits. Like, I really do like his Vikavolt. Like, it's literally probably one of my favorite Alola Pokemon, and if I had to do my top 10 favorite Alola Pokemon, it'd probably be on that list because of its development, its design, and how Sophocles, had a great development with his. But at the same time, I felt like he was just the odd one out in the gang. I mean, like, they all had their own distinctive mannerisms about them. But I mean, he isn't. You see, I didn't really have like a least favorite character.
It's just if we had to choose, I guess.
If we had to choose, yeah, he would be the dishcloth, I'm afraid.
Wow.
Hey, don't get we're going to play this back and we're going to listen to everyone else's opinion, so don't get me started on that. But yeah, yeah, he would have to be the one to clean the dishes. Yeah.
Well, okay, well, fair enough. I think even when it comes to the community overall, I think they would both say Sophocles and Rotom anyway, so...
His Togedemaru's cute, though. His Togedemaru's cute, don't forget that.
I feel like Boneri was a better love interest for Pikachu, but I feel like Togedemaru has nothing else going for it aside from that, but if you like it, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, you're going on to me about the heat. Bringing it as well. Like, what the...
Just saying.
No, I'm joking. But yeah.
But with that out of the way, let's move on to something a little bit more positive. This may be a bit harder to answer, but...
I've got a few in mind already, but...
Oh yeah, you got, of course, looking at the document. Alright, guys, what is your favourite arc in Sun and Moon, and why? So, by an arc, it could be the Alola League, it could be for the Island arcs, Pony Island, Ula Ula, It could be even the Guzzled episodes, like those two together. Actually, no. Okay, let's make it more than 2 episodes actually, because we're definitely going to be mentioning Guzzled later on. So more than 3 episodes, I would say. So if you have any arcs in mind, let us know. I then Necrozman, Sugalio, whatever. Do you have anything in mind at the moment, Zach? That's
So
okay.
that is, it's easy for me. It's the Alola League. Like how could I not like that? Like, it's crazy. It's like, cause literally, like the Sun and Moon series has been pretty laid back. There haven't been that many battles. So to have a whole arc, 17 episode arc, literally dedicated to battles, is just insane. And like so many different like storylines that we've had. We've had Guzma in the Alola League, and like I loved his whole episode when Ash defeated him. I loved the final battle with Ash versus Gladion, and then obviously to top it all off, Kukui versus Ash. Like we already talked a little bit about it before, but like, man, it was just done so well, and I freaking
Yeah.
love it. I mean, you know, I'm the freaking Pokemon League guy who reviews Pokemon League arcs, so to me it was a big deal, and like it was just something I've been looking forward to ever since Kukui mentioned it in episode 43, I believe, when they were leaving Kanto. So it's been on my mind ever since, and I've been bringing up in videos, the Alola League is coming, the Alola League is coming, and now that it's here, I feel like at least to me, it lived up to the hype, and it was pretty awesome, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not much to say. Everybody knows how freaking awesome that league was. I mean,
You've got a review coming out as well, so people can check that out.
I feel like it was done really well, and it did a good job of representing all of Alola's themes and everything. So, man, I just love it. I love it. Alola League was awesome. You know, I can't complain because most league arcs are like 7 to 8 episodes at the most. So the fact that we got 17 episodes, it's like so much action, so much going on. Like, it was awesome. And I think it's the longest arc in the Pokemon anime, like, period. I think I saw something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. For me, Alola League all the way.
It blended in nice character development in between as well, which is... Well, the battles had more meaning as well, which I love to see more meanings in battle. I remember me and Zach were discussing, everyone was like disappointed that the Alola League wouldn't have 6v6 battles, but we were saying to each other, we kind of prefer if a battle has more story than the amount of Pokemon, because that's what we love to see, a combination of action and the story going on, not just some random matchup and action alongside it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying not to say the Alola League would be my answer for my favorite arc, but I want to be different and touch upon another arc as well. So I feel like one arc which is really underrated and overshadowed by another arc is the Sigaleo arc, episode 44 to episode 55, where Ash looked after Nebby and Lily went through her whole development process. Yeah, I feel like it's so underrated, and the Necrozma arc is what overshadows it, because everyone feels like that was an arc done better, which understandable, and you know the Necrozma arc does display Sun and Moon's themes beautifully, but the Sigaleo arc, just everything what I said about Lily earlier, I would say it again here, and we finally got introduced to Lusamine, Faber, Burnett, who would become recurring characters, and they all played amazing roles. Like I thought I would hate Faber. Well, I mean, that was like balanced for me. But I like that I can hate him at times because he's meant to be hated at some points, you know. So I could appreciate that. The wedding was a very nice episode. 10 million volt Thunderbolt got introduced, which I found that to be a very incredible scene back then. But that's just been blown away now by the Alola League 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Nihilego, the Ultra Beast, just everything we wanted to see from the Sun and Moon games got introduced into this arc, and I thought it was done really well, even if people think it was rushed. But I'm on the unpopular side where I feel like it wasn't rushed, to be honest. But yeah, that's all I can really say for it, to be honest, if I don't want to repeat stuff I've said in other videos. So Raph, what'd your favorite arc be?
Okay, I mean, I do like the Solgaleo arc. I do like the Alola League. However, I mean, would we kind of count this as an arc as well when Rockruff evolved into Dust Lycanroc between the two episodes from episode 36 and 37? Would that kind of count?
Sure, why not? Let's go with it. That's a nice
I mean,
answer.
Guzzlord counts, and it was 2 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it was just the whole build up of, Ash's Rockruff taking on Olivia in the trial and then, like, taking on its potential evolutionary form that you would expect it to evolve into due to its appearance, and then with the whole guardian deities coming and literally just seeing that eclipse over the flipping sea and just seeing the little guy howl and then evolve into a completely brand new Pokemon. As we mentioned before, it was just such a big eye opener because this evolution didn't only just affect the anime, it affected at the time as well the new games that would be revealed, and it was trending that day literally all over Twitter.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was, I can't remember the exact day. I definitely know it was in October or
August 2017.
October. Yeah, but like that was just like it was just something different. Do you know what I mean? Once again, obviously Ash getting a little bit of treatment with an exclusive Pokemon, but it shocked the community by storm because they didn't expect it to be like a completely different evolution. They've just thought, oh, maybe it's just going to evolve into Ash's Ash Lycanroc, quote unquote form. But like, yeah, man, it was just a really cool arc, and I just like the whole development that Rockruff received in order for it to get to that stage of its evolution. I mean, I would say that Alola League as well, because come on, man, we've all been tweeting about this league literally and how it's changed the whole surface for the Pokemon anime now, knowing that Ash is a champion. But I mean, there's always another arc that can steal the limelight for this one, I guess. And for me, it was the Rockruff one.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually, wow, mad props to you for coming up with that, Raf, because even I was very hype upon seeing Rockruff evolve into this never seen before Lycanroc form. It was,
bro, like literally, I remember watching the episode and I was actually in a call with Sammy when I was watching the episode, Ghostly Fearless. Shout out to Sammy if you're listening. And like, I remember we watched it together. She was like, "Oh, do you want to watch the latest episode?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm bored. Okay, we'll watch it." And we watched it, and I was just like, "What the flip? Like, the thing's orange, man! It's orange!" And I was just like, "Oh my god, it's got green eyes! It's so cool! It's got the same eyes." Like, I remember making a theory about, "Oh, look, its eyes are gonna be green because it's reflection of this," and I was going into a bit of Norse mythology and stuff like that, and thankfully half of it was true, half of it was a load of bull crap. Who gives a shit? And yeah, it didn't come true, but yeah, it was just amazing. It was a really cool build up, and yeah, a nice little arc.
Awesome. Nicely said, Raf. Okay, this next question, I know we're all gonna say the same thing. So let's just all say it at once, and then I'll let one person talk about it, and then I guess we can say an honorable mention for it afterwards. Which this question is, what is your favorite battle in Sun and Moon and why? Alright, I want to see if we can all see it at the same time. 3, 2, 1, Ash versus
Hal.
Let's go.
Oh my god. But who wants to do the honors of talking about Ash versus Kukui?
Okay, now let us go back in time all the way to
when the series first started, April 1st, 1997.
episode 1, Alola. Episode 141, literally seeing Ash and Kukui stand up in front of each other, walk to their positions, and send out their Pokemon was just like, I was getting goosebumps, man. Like, Ben, do you remember watching this and just feeling like, oh god, come on, just choose a Pokemon already, get on with it. And like, it was so good. And then just pushing throughout the battles where we saw Lycanroc versus Braviary, Venusaur versus Rowlet, and Empoleon, Pikachu, and then obviously Empoleon, Melmetal, Incineroar, etc., etc. And of course, the main highlight, which was before the Tapu Koko and Pikachu battle, was Incineroar versus Torracat. It was just so good to see the different matchups and then switches between the Pokemon and then when to be pulled out, and then it was like back and forth action, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and each Pokemon played their part in damaging the previous Pokemon, which was a major, like, a really good tactic to say the least, even though obviously it was set out like that in the battle. But man, like when we watched these live early in the morning, like it was a big wake up call. Like, bro, I know I got out of bed and it was like so early, but watching those episodes, I didn't want to go back to sleep, even though I actually did go back to sleep because I was flipping tired. Because I tried my hardest to stay up, bro, but then I lost my energy from all the excitement and shouting. I was just like, yeah, I need to rest, man. Next week's going to be even worse because it's going to be like, the final set and I'm going to be screaming my head off. But, I mean, come on, man. I was going to say this week. Well, last week's episode, flipping Tapu Koko versus Pikachu and Ash and Kukui, of course, on Tapu Koko's side. Seeing those two Z moves in action, like, even though we've already, posted tweets and our reactions regarding the whole episode entirely, it literally solidified the perfect quote-unquote champion / exhibition / final battle that you would want to see in a Pokemon League. And oh god, I always knew Ash and Pikachu had their inner Goku, but like as soon as he raised that flipping 10 million volt Thunderbolt, you know what? I'm gonna pass on to one YouTube because I'm probably gonna down in a minute. So.
Well, as I said in the tree, I did say this is my favorite climax in a battle from the Pokemon anime. This is my favorite flashback scene from the Pokemon anime. This is, in my opinion, the most beautifully animated scene from the Pokemon anime, which, fun fact, 6 animators, I believe it was, worked on this episode, which just goes to show why the animation was so godlike. It was all the best animators as well. And I also said in the tweet, this is my new favorite scene ever from the Pokemon anime. Because that final climax, bro, it was just amazing. And then, like I said, our reactions will be in the description below if you want to see them. And we were just screaming at the top of our lungs, while also trying not to wake up some people. But, yeah, it was... that climax, bro, it was just done so well. That's all I can really say for that final climax. Raph touched upon everything before that and a little bit of the climax perfectly. So, yeah, it's our favorite battle for a good reason. Is there anything you would want to add on to Ash versus Kukui-sak? Or
I mean, you guys pretty much hit all of it. I mean, but more just the fact that like the emotional weight that the battle had to it, just because of the fact that like Kukui was like Ash's dad of the series, and like just the fact that like we already said it before, we already touched upon it multiple times, but just the fact that like all their stories are so interconnected that this battle was even more climactic than like Ash's win against Gladion in the finals. So like just having it like all come together, and like the fact that it was a really good battle. Like it could have easily just been like, all right, let's just knock people out. Let's get a bunch of double knockouts. Were there even any double knockouts? Like technically, nope. Incineroar, when it knocked itself out, you could count it, but it didn't knock itself out because of Kukui's Incineroar.
Precisely.
It just fainted from like overexerting itself. But like the fact that like this battle, like it took its time, which I really appreciate. I literally say this in my Alola League review, which I appreciate, because like each matchup was important. It's like none of them feel rushed. None of them feel like oh man, it's just like every single Pokemon had a moment to shine. And even Lycanroc, the only one who didn't get a win, it was awesome in the fact that like it did some damage to Braviary for God to come in. And also like I like the fact that like, and it did that awesome Stone Edge against Incineroar, which was a nice callback to Krokorok. And oh man, just the fact that like in Lycanroc was the first Pokemon of Ash's to go and it didn't get a win. That was an awesome way to start the battle, because that was the Pokemon that won Ash the league, and now it's the one that got taken out. So now Ash has to win with everyone else. You can't be like, oh, Lycanroc is the ace, so without Lycanroc, Ash is gonna lose. It's not like that. Like if you go to the freaking Kalos League, if you took out Greninja first, like Ash is fucked. You know what I mean?
Like literally, like in the Kalos League, not to hate on it, but they purposely made double knockouts and speed through some of the matchups just so Greninja could come in and go like, lol, bye.
Like literally, yeah. Like the Kalos League was basically the Greninja show. Like he was the first Pokemon he used, and it's pretty much implied that he swept his first opponent with Ash Greninja, and then most of the other battles Ash had was just saving up for Ash Greninja, getting ready for Ash Greninja to come. So like, since Ash's Alola team we talked about earlier, there's like no clear cut ace. So the fact that Ash was able to win without like Lycanroc means that everyone else was good enough in their own right. Everyone else got to win, even when Lycanroc was the ones to take the first L, which was freaking. It was great. Everyone had great moments. Freaking God came through. Freaking
That
Melmetal
was
came
such a
through.
funny battle.
like,
Matchup, brother.
Everyone talks so much trash. Oh, Melmetal evolved just for it to lose. Well, it was going against Gladion Silvally, and Melmetal never got training. And then look at that. The little bit of training Ash did with it before the battle just to speed up its double iron bash completely destroyed Empoleon when it's a steel type against a steel type. It shouldn't be able to take it out so easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, and of course the climax at the end, freaking 10 million volt Thunderbolt versus Guardian of Alola. My God, literally gives me freaking chills. I don't know how many times I've just rewatched that scene alone. Like I literally have the final episode.
I watched it today on my lunch. I literally watched it today on my lunch. Honest, I've got it in my history. I watched it on my lunch break, and I was just like, I can't believe how we were literally freaking out as soon as we saw the camera turn. I remember us just going,
That's right. I went, oh!
I was like, oh man. Never forget the day, boys. Never forget that day.
Nope.
It was like National Ash Ketchum Day all over again. Oh man. Oh man, like I love the comedic part in that battle as well with Rowlet with the matchup. They managed to make us laugh as well at points. And Empoleon as well. Oh my god.
Oh, that face. And then the meme hit it from the back when it got knocked down. It was literally putting his ass in front of Kukui. Like, I had to take a moment of that and put it on Twitter. It was so funny in my opinion. But yeah. So good, man.
So what I wanted to say for my honorable mention though is because in this tag there's no questions relating to the trials. So I wanted to mention that I think when it comes to battle choreography, Ash versus Olivia is my favorite trial. Whereas if we are to like say both the story behind the battle and action, I guess I would maybe go with Nanu. But yeah, I just wanted to mention those trial battles. I've made a full video dedicated to it at the same time for my top 10 favorite trials in the Sun and Moon anime. But yeah, I felt like I should at least mention a trial here first. So there's my two favorite trials right there. So yeah, the next question though, let's try put this in a nutshell when we answer this. Okay. What are your top 5 favorite Sun and Moon episodes and why? Do you guys have any on the top of your head right now, or do you want me to go first?
I've got a couple.
You could go first then.
Well, it's funny because we've already mentioned them before in my previous points, but episode 15, Rock and Claw, Mark Hill. Episode 37, Rising from the Ruins. Episode 42, Alola Kanto.
Nice. Season 1 episode suck.
Episode 49.
Hey, that's my boy!
You know that we spoke about this already. We definitely spoke about this one.
Yeah,
a bunch of Lily fanboys.
Hey! You know it was good. You know it.
It was.
And then,
shut up, you XY star.
Episode. I can't take you too seriously. We're on camera, guys. We're on camera. Well, actually, we're on audio, but still.
And the final episode.
Well, actually, oh god. Okay, I've got episode 125. Really, really love that episode. And then, if I could add a bonus in, it would be episode 141 to 140. There.
Hey, I mean, yeah, fair enough. Do you have any on the top of your head, Zach? Or do you want me to go first?
I can go. So, 144, obviously. Then there is 139, where Ash becomes a champion. How could I not?
Of course.
Ooh, okay.
Then, there is episode 100. No, not 100. Episode 43. where it's Ash
Hey.
versus Misty and Brock versus
Oh
Kiawe.
yes.
I mean, in a brief honorable mention, like tagged along to that episode, episode 42, because that was like right before, even though they're separate episodes, but they kind of go together. But I really enjoyed that. And how many is that? That's like, is that
That
three?
was 3.
Three.
I've got my fingers up.
Scrolling. I like the episode where 76 Pikachu versus Mimikyu.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was awesome. And fifth one, I don't really have a fifth one just yet. So those are my top 4 right now. Maybe I'll come with you with my fifth one.
All right. Well,
Later on.
I'm so. I know some of mine are definitely some fan favorites. Oh wait, this is my season 1 list. I'm looking at my leaderboards right now. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pair these 2 episodes together. The Guzzler Doc. So episode 100 and 101. Episode 108, which is Mallow reunites with her mother. Episode 49, like Raph said, Lily overcomes the trauma of touching Pokemon. Episode 115, Gooseber's debut. I felt like that was such a strong debut episode.
Oh yeah.
And wow, I actually did not know this was number 5. Okay, my number 5 is Lily Masters a Z move, episode 127. But that was a superb episode as well, and I've already spoken a little bit about that. But
I mean, as a Lily fanboy, it does make sense, Ben.
there's 2 Lily episodes there.
I came back with my number 5.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, you just realized. So I don't know. This list isn't like set in stone. You know, it could change. I don't know, but just the ones that really stood out to me the most. I guess number 5 would have to be episode. God dang it! I just had episode 63 where Ash battles Mask Royal for the first time.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Alright, originally for this question as well, I did put top 5 least favorite, but I don't know if you guys would be able to answer that on the top of your head, whereas I've actually got a list here. But maybe you guys agree with this, so I'll go first.
Yeah,
Go for it. Yeah.
My least favorite episode from Sun and Moon, which we've been referencing a bit already, is episode 6. Ash and Sophocles get stuck in the mall. It was just filled with so much slapstick comedy that it was just really off-putting, to be honest. Not really a great one of the first 10 episodes for Sun and Moon either, because it just made my hatred for Sun and Moon grow. But then obviously I loved it, so funny how things played out. My second least favorite Sun and Moon episode would be DJ Leo breaks up with Alola and Dugtrio, if you guys remember that. That was just an experience. Number 3, although this is actually included in the Segaleo arc, and there was a famous rant video about this episode, well, infamous. Nebby evolves into Segaleo. It was just very dragged out and boring to me, that episode. Like, they were just waiting for the Tabus to arrive and Nebby to evolve, and then that's it. That's all we really gotta see. Number 4 would be the Ultra Guardians versus Alolan Golem. Now that was just very boring. Like, why use the Ultra Guardians there as well? Like, it was just very boring. Like, all they did was talk about stones for the entire episode. Like, bro. Oh my god. And then my 5th least favorite episode is the Pikachu Valley episode, because of how many times they fucking said Pika.
Oh, bro, like...
I actually enjoyed that episode.
Fair enough, just I could not stand how many times
I love
Pika got said.
Yeah, literally. If I had to, like, a least favorite, it would definitely be that one. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Pikachu to bits, but it just felt so... I'm gonna use British slang for this. It felt so jarring and just boring seeing so many Pika. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get upset in a minute. I ain't gonna speak about it.
What would yours then be like? I suppose it's episode 6, but
all right,
is there any others we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I have a couple. So looking at it, episode 6, obviously for obvious reasons, it was so boring. Also, I'm not a huge fan of episode 5 either.
Oh,
it was just like, okay, that's when you find out about Lana's goal about wanting to travel the world in a big balloon. Okay, like underwater. It was just, I wasn't feeling that one either. Episode 17 with the Rotom Detective episode, boring. It can go away. Episode 26 when Sophocles is supposed to move away. That was
Oh, wow, last season one episode.
that episode felt so
I
dumb.
thought that'd be one of your favorites.
Funny. That's
We were
oh,
discussing this before the call. Oh my god.
oh man, and episode 57 where Rotom was hopping between all the different forms and like it was just forgettable. I don't really remember that much.
If I had to
Alright,
bring
if
up
you
an
say so.
episode that wouldn't actually be like not least favorite, but if I was like actually quite disappointed with, it probably would have to be 140 because I felt like obviously like
Oh yeah.
they had the three Guzzlords attack the league, and then like within the space, even though it is like a 20-minute, 25-minute episode, in the space of let's say for example 10 minutes, they managed to get rid of all three of them, and I'm just like, I wish it had a bit more of like the sort of like the Zygarde Megalith feel to it, just like a couple of episodes. Of course they put in the action where everyone worked together, use their Z moves and their Pokemon to overcome them, and force them back into the Ultra Wormhole and stuff. But it felt really rushed, like all of it was just done in quick succession. Like 1 minute we'll be seeing Gladion, Hao, and Kiawe all together, and then before you know it, we'll be seeing Ash and Kukui, and like even flipping, Beware and Team Rocket when they were fighting off flipping Guzzlord together. It was just like, oh, they're here to attack quickly. We'll get rid of them quickly, and then we'll just continue with the anime and just like move on to the league now with not the league, sorry, the battle between Kukui and Ash. It just felt rushed. It just felt really rushed.
See,
If
like
it was,
that.
yeah.
Sorry, that episode is just like you said, it's super rushed. But like, I feel like the main reason they made that episode in the first place is just to like basically have an excuse to have Naganadel come back.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a bunch of wormholes, so maybe one of them has Poipole come back. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a good reason for it to come back. There's a bunch of wormholes. No one's gonna like notice. Like,
And
eh.
that was probably the best point that it proved as well. I mean, it was cool to see, like them all defeat Guzzlord finally and stuff like that. But then obviously bringing back Nagandel was just like, the nice touch. And like you mentioned, bro, it was literally just the staple for that episode to reintroduce the Pokemon after it evolved while it was away from Ash.
Oh god, I remember being so hyped for that episode. I was like, oh my god, I'm more hyped than I was for the Team Flare Rock. And then that happened.
It was just
Yikes.
I guess that does it for the least favorite episodes though, but I guess this makes way for question 8. What do we like and dislike most about Sun and Moon? We'll start with the like to get on a positive note first. What do you guys say your favorite thing is when it comes to Sun and Moon? You go first if you got something, Raf.
I think it would just have to be the whole push of development for characters and Pokemon. I mean, we got to see a lot of focus on, of course, every individual character and their Pokemon, and of course, mainly Ash. As we mentioned before already earlier today, we got to see Ash's Pokemon even still be powerhouses in their first stage form, see them evolve into mega powerhouses, see them come from rough backgrounds and try to persevere and overcome battle capabilities for them to evolve into something much stronger. So that was great. Obviously we got to see our boy grab the first place and trophy for the first time, and it was just a iconic moment in the Pokemon franchise entirely. We remember seeing it trend on Twitter that day that Ash won. Flipping even official sports accounts on Twitter were literally promoting this information because it was such a big thing, and like it was a great day to remember. And I think that was one of the best things that I like about the Sun and Moon anime. Obviously, as mentioned before, development of characters and Pokemon. Disliking, I think it would probably just have to be, I mean, this kind of falls into place again from the very first question when I was confused with the art style. It would probably, I mean, I don't dislike it as much because towards season 2 and season 3, I started to kind of adapt to it and was thinking, you know what, you've been watching the episodes and it's looking good. Like even the animation for when they were using Z moves and the moves in general in battle, it was really cool. But if I had to put like something that I did dislike, it would probably just be the art style to begin with, because I was just a bit
It
baffed
did
to think.
improve over time
Yeah,
as well.
it
Like
did.
I will admit, when I look back at season 1, I'm like, dang, this doesn't look as good as later seasons. So
Yeah,
yeah,
precisely.
the complaint would still be there, I guess, for me. But
But yeah.
yeah, fair enough then. Zach.
All right. Um. So my favorite thing is kind of like going along the lines with where I've said is like just the huge focus Sun and Moon has on its characters and like its development and how well it likes to handle character moments, because we have a lot of like surprisingly Sun and Moon is like, yeah, it's a comedy based show and it has like very like lots of jokes, lots of funny jokes in every episode and slapstick humor and stuff like that. But when it wants to get serious, it can get serious and it can hit you in the feels. Like I feel like Sun and Moon has hit me on an emotional level way more than like any other
Yeah, man.
series. I think the only other series to maybe get as much emotion from me is maybe Diamond and Pearl and XY sort of, but not enough, because Pokemon is never the type of show to like get super serious and emotional, but Sun and Moon does it and they handle characters really well. Like Stoutland's death, when we talk about Mallow's mom, the Minior episode, and like, just a lot of things. Like it's just very good, and even like lighthearted things as well. They're very good at handling character moments, which is something I really appreciate. Which really helps you makes every character stand out in their own way, and it helps you like appreciate them a lot more instead of them just being Ash's yes men the whole time. You know what I mean? They're actual people. They have they're actual like people. Like like they're
Yeah.
people. They're different. They have their own experiences and stuff like that. They're not just all there just to follow Ash because he's the very best and Ash is awesome. So let's just follow him and let's take off our jackets and put it on the ground so Ash can walk over it because we have to help him reach the league. Like no, like um and I guess my least favorite thing about Sun and Moon would be the slice of life. No, that's not to say that like it's bad, because it has slice of life can be good, but I feel like Sun and Moon has like they overdo it too much to the point where like they lack a lot of characters and stuff. They lack development. Like there's a lot of things we could have gotten, but we didn't because they want to focus so much on slice of life, especially in season like the freaking episode 6 we talked about. Like that's pure like random slice of life. Who cares? Nobody cares. But because they want like we got so many episodes like that in season 1 and some of it in season 2, that like a lot of characters didn't get the right development except for like Lily, which is why everyone got a huge dump in development in season 3 to get them ready for the league. And it's something we've talked about like on the chat, that like I brought it up that if they had kind of introduced the concept of the league a lot earlier into the series, it would give everyone something to work towards. But because they wanted to have so many slice of life, everyone's just kind of there and existing just cuz. So like I feel like if Sun and Moon kind of held back on the slice of life, and Sun and Moon would have been a lot better, and people would have taken it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, it's like kind of touched upon of what I was gonna say. I think my favorite thing when it comes to Sun and Moon would be its themes.
Lily.
Oh, I mean, yeah, she's a major point too, but no, it would be the themes if I had to be serious.
Future hero.
They introduced so many stuff we thought we'll never see in Pokemon, like talking about death.
Death.
Well, we've already pretty much discussed it so much, so all I can really say is just the themes. I'll say that. All right, well, with that out of the way, that leads us to the second to last question now. What is your overall impression of Sun and Moon now, and where would you rank it amongst the other series?
Oh my god.
Who wants to go first?
Yikes.
I think Zach should go first for this one. The lead yeah, just go for it.
All right, so overall impression of Sun and Moon. I mean, now like I love Sun and Moon. Like I said, I love like kind of you said too. Like I love the themes, I love the characters, I love the story. I mean, freaking Kukui is my favorite character, and like the fact that the final climax of this series basically was between Ash and Kukui, and it's something that the series has been building up to since the beginning. Feels like it was such a good payoff, and I feel like it couldn't have been done any other way. So like in the end, I mean, it took a while for me to enjoy Sun and Moon because of how different it was to every other series. But I've said this before, but like by the time Gladion is introduced, I was finally able to see like the potential the show had, and the fact that okay, maybe this show can offer something interesting and something for Ash to work towards. Because if you remember, after he battled Hala and he did his first grand trial, he kind of just didn't do anything. He just sliced of life the whole time until he met Gladion. And he's like, oh, there's a rock type Z crystal. Oh, you can get it from Akala Island. Okay, like that finally gave him something to do. And then of course Kukui introduces the league, and then that makes Ash want to go to Ula Ula and then take the rest of his island challenge seriously. So like in the end, I feel like I finally learned how to appreciate Sun and Moon. I freaking love it. It took a while, definitely, but you know that's in the past. It definitely made up for it in season 2, and especially in season 3. And yeah, it's just awesome because it's so different from every other series. Every series has been pretty much the same. Ash goes to a region, he travels all the gyms, and then he does a Pokemon League, loses, and then he goes home. But this one is
Just
very
so
different, but
yeah.
it's like it's almost the same because there's the leagues, and instead of gym battles, he's doing island challenges, and it's almost the same, but it's different. It's different. It doesn't even follow the games that well either. Like it does its own thing almost.
It's got its
So
own
like
twist. Yeah.
Now
yeah,
Gen
so
8's
like
gonna do that as well.
yeah, definitely. So I feel like maybe this is where it kind of started from. Like Sun and Moon tries to do like deviate from the games a bit. Like it still has the game's content. It just gives it to us in a different way that isn't as predictable. So I freaking love Sun and Moon in the end. You know, people hate on it because oh, Ash looks goofy, the art style, whatever. But in the end of the day, it's still the same Ash, and we want to see him succeed, and he did, and it's freaking awesome. And it doesn't feel like, because I was worried that it wasn't going to be that great, but in the end, it was. And what I would say is that where I'd rank it amongst other series is it's hard. I don't want to say this one,
Well,
but
you could save it for a future video or whatever, because I know you spoke to me about, eventually doing a ranking of some sorts like that. A big, well, I won't spoil it, but yeah.
I mean, I will say, I mean, where it stands, I would put it. Oh man, I would put it maybe my third favorite right now. Above it is
Alright.
X, Y, and Diamond and Pearl. Not in that order, but like it's definitely third because it's really good. I just feel like that first season really holds it back, but it's still very enjoyable. Like I like it better than the original. Black and White definitely get that trash out of here. And Owen is pretty forgettable, but like it's definitely there. It's top 3. Like it's in the good area, you know. So yeah.
My original ranking I did on this channel was that. Alright, Raf. Well, what about you, then?
You know what, man? Like watching the first season, I didn't think I was actually going to continue watching the rest of it because from what I was, like I said at the beginning, I was just really confused with its um quote unquote image on how it was set out, and you know how Ash was acting, and again the art style was just playing some like pulling my strings a little bit. It was just at times I felt like it was like sort of glitching with the way you would see the animations, like from the very beginning of the first episode where we see Pikachu with Ash on top of the Sharpedo, and we see them like, even though obviously it's trying to show like sort of a drift effect from the wind, that little jutter of animation just kind of put me off. And I know obviously it's trying to give off a really cool effect to make it look quote unquote like real life, but it just put me off it a bit. But I stuck with it. Like, once again, keyword perseverance, and it just literally I can't explain to you guys how much it exceeded the expectations I had for it. It was just unbelievable. And even watching back now some of the episodes just randomly when I go online and just like watching the subs back and seeing the whole build up of, you know, Ash doing what he wanted to do was to take part in the Pokemon League, and he wanted to win. He said he wanted to win, and what did he do? Won. And it was just a nice feeling. It was just a nice feeling, the fact that I gave the anime another chance and that I managed to see Ash win. We all managed to see Ash win. It was just, bro, like, come on. We've been following the anime for ages, and you know the Pokemon franchise in general, and it was just a nice touch. So it was definitely a great anime series, and if I had to rank it, oh gosh, you guys got me thinking now. XYZ would definitely still probably. Oh God. Oh. Okay. Well, I definitely know Sinnoh is third. Advanced Generation's fourth. I would probably. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna say it. XYZ and Sun and Moon are joint first, in my opinion, because they just have so many qualities that contradict each other in terms of how it was set out. And even though obviously Ash didn't win the Lumious Conference, but he still pushed himself in some ways that I felt like were sort of similar to how Sun and Moon was for him to win the Alola League. So I'm probably gonna have to put them both same position because I really do love them both. And yeah, I guess Diamond and Pearl would probably go, second, third, and then Advanced Generation afterwards. But yeah, that's where I would rank them, man. I mean, it's just I'm lost for words. It's just so flipping good. Like, wow. Like,
That's me clapping. I'm just doing it very quietly.
Thank you. It's your turn now.
Because I would agree that it'll be joint first for me with XYZ. Because I was saying on Twitter, like, I just suddenly realized when the Alola League began that Sun and Moon brings me such happiness that I started to doubt that it's third or as my favorite series, Diamond and Pearl being second. And just as the Alola League continued going on, it just made me even more happier that I eventually came to the realization that, yeah, this is probably my favorite series along XYZ. So I'm just gonna tell everyone that they're both my favorite series. They're both number one, and yeah, now I'm known as as the XY and Sun and Moon stan, which is something.
Supporting the movement.
You never see that. But yeah, you guys definitely hit the points of why I love Sun and Moon so much. So I'm not even gonna repeat it. And we've already said a lot earlier on into this podcast as well, which would be repeated. So the point is, Sun and Moon just makes me so happy, and that's why I love it. At the end of the day, just
bro, the amount of times I had to tear up at certain episodes because I actually felt that emotion in that episode, and like the music. Oh my lord, we've spoken about this loads of times on the group chat with Zach. The music, man, how they're bringing back old soundtracks and OSTs from previous anime seasons, and the new OSTs that are from the games that are ripped for the anime style. They done an amazing job with that. They done an amazing job. It was incredible.
Oh god, yeah. Exceeded my expectations indeed. Like, it's so weird going back and watching the rant I made on Sun and Moon's poster and comparing it to how I'm reacting to Ash vs. Kukui or my reviews. It's
kind of scary in a way because you're looking back at it now and you're thinking how much it's changed in that period of time. It's like,
yeah, Sun and Moon's crazy, bro. It's man, it's amazing. That brings us to our final point now, though, the sad point. The final question. What will we miss most from Sun and Moon?
God.
Everything. God. Yeah, I'd miss Rowlet too. Well, yeah, it's easy to say everything, but if I had to come up with one point, then it would be my favourite point I said earlier, which is the themes. Because I'm not too sure if that would continue into the Gen 8 anime, with how much they want to show us the different locations and regions, and they said they want to put every Pokemon in this anime as well, so, I feel like we won't see the themes as much, so that would be what I would miss from Sun and Moon if they don't manage to incorporate it into the Gen 8 anime. What about you, Zach? What will you miss most about it?
Rotom. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he's easily going with Ash.
Yeah. No, I'll miss. Dude, I'm gonna miss Kukui, man. Oh my god, like just like that relationship Ash has with Kukui and Burnett, like it's gone. Like that's it. Like he's gonna be traveling around. He won't have like that. Like, oh man, it sucks. It like I think about that like every time. It's like, oh, when when Ash leaves, he's not gonna be with Kaku anymore. He's not gonna have like that father figure, and like it's not gonna be the same anymore, man. Like I remember like after Ash beat Kakui, and then like Burnett and Delia were like cheering for Ash and congratulating him. Like that's his moms. Like he has two moms, man. Both of his moms were congratulating him. It was like, oh man, it was so wholesome. I'm gonna lose that. Like we're gonna lose that like dynamic, and just like the dynamic with his characters with all the characters as well. Like I get why Ash is gonna be sad when he has to leave, because this is such a good group. I mean, Sophocles, okay. But like besides that, like I'm gonna
won't talk about him. Yeah.
I'm gonna miss like the characters, because like they did so well making all these characters very distinct, and like Ash having a good relationship with all of them, and just with his Pokemon as well, like the whole Alola region, like, and its themes, the fact that like this is like the first region where like we see almost all of Ash's entire team, like in almost every episode. Like he always has them out of their Pokeball. He only has them in their Pokeball when he's like going somewhere, or like when he's gonna be in a battle. But most of the time when he's like chilling at the Pokemon school, or he's at at Kakui's house, like his Pokemon are just hanging out there, so like you get to see them a lot more, you get to see their personality more, and just like little moments like that we're gonna lose because of Gen 8. But I mean, I'm excited for Gen 8, but I'm gonna miss those like little character moments, and just like that relationship Ash has with Kiawe and Lily and Lana, Mallow, and Kakui and Burnett, man, it just. But most of all, like that like family dynamic with Kakui and Burnett, I'm really gonna miss. Like, it's gonna suck when he has to say goodbye to them. Oh man, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna miss Kukui, like Zach mentioned. I'm gonna miss the whole build up of expecting to, wait for the next episode and be like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen next with this character's development or this Pokemon's development. Are they gonna evolve? Are they gonna stay in their usual state? But I'm also actually going to miss Z-Moves, because Z-Moves played a massive part in the Sun and Moon series, of course, the way they were utilized in battle. And I think we can both agree that the way that Guardian of Alola was used against 10 million volt Thunderbolt, that just kind of like once again solidified the use of Z-Moves and how important and crazy they are in the Alola region. And to see the final, essentially the final battle with probably two of the most strongest Z moves, like it's just jaw dropping, really. It's just like I've got it as my background now, like literally Pikachu, like Zach's got it as his banner. Like that one screenshot literally was just incredible. And like, look at all the different colors of the rainbow electric shocks. Like, look at that flipping titan of a flipping human thing with a bloody cockerel on its head. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy, man. I'm gonna miss the Sun and Moon anime. I'm gonna miss a lot of things from it. But Gen 8 is around the corner, boys, and then we'll be jumping and literally either shitting on it or loving it as well. So
nah, we won't be shitting on it. I think Sun and Moon proved that even though I disliked it at first, I ended up loving it, and the same's gonna. Even if I did dislike the beginning of Gen 8, I know I'm going to start liking it like Sun and Moon, because I just love the anime so much now. I'm an Anipoke channel after all as well. I've literally been defending Black and White as well at times, so yeah. Well, boys, those were all 10 questions. I'm not going to lie, I did expect this to be 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh wow, really? We're going on.
Oh my god.
Although to be fair, that is true. I can see it. But yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun with that. I managed to somehow speak about all my Sun and Moon thoughts in a good 2 hours, which would have been a pain if I were to do that in some kind of normal video, because people know from my channel update out of update posted by now.
Think about it like this as well, bro. This was an unscripted video as well, so you're pushing in that direction as well.
It's helped me practice for that. I mean, I may not have a large range of vocabulary, but I've still managed to show passion, I believe. I mean, I'm a little bit quiet right now because it's 1 a.m. in the UK. And the last family member just went to sleep, but this was fun, and I hope to everybody watching that you've enjoyed this as well. As I said in my channel update, this is gonna be a thing from now on, where this podcast is gonna be on Raf's channel, on my channel. We're still working out the details, but the Anipoke Bros are gonna be here. We're gonna be discussing about the Gen 8 anime. We're gonna be finally speaking about all our thoughts in a nice 15-minute way, if it is to be like episode 1. And this was a nice way to finalize everything on Sun and Moon just before it ends. So I enjoyed this a lot. But as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, then be sure to consider leaving a like and subscribe to each of our channels. Entity Maze, Lumios Trinizak, the Pokéraf, and consider sharing as well. You guys want to say anything before we end this off?
Thanks for having me, bro. Really enjoyed this.
Well, you're co-host.
Yeah,
bro.
but you know, this is going on your channel. This is going on your channel, and you took lead for this one. And you know, it was good to sit down with you and Zach as always, and just chat about anime, Pokemon, everything. So yeah, shout out to you.
All right, thank you. I mean, yeah, we do this literally all the time in WhatsApp. We send voice messages to each other at random times talking about the anime. And
oh yeah, and I have to catch up on them in the morning. Yeah, nice one, boys.
It's always behind.
It's not my fault. I'm a night guy, and
I'll let you guys off.
Zach, anything you want to say before we sign off?
I mean, thank you for listening / watching. I mean, if you want, you can check out my Alola League review.
The link will be in the description.
I guess.
Along with those nice reactions as well. But
yeah.
For now, this has been the Anipoke Bros, and we'll see you all later. Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Deuces.